In the world of radio shock jocks, the biggest are Opie and Anthony.
These people say shocking things that border on offensive in order to entertain their audience.
I refuse to sit here and think that radio has to be nice. Why? Why does radio, out of any other medium, have to be nice? We are being now held to a standard where we have to be nice and make people feel good. Go screw!
Radio bad boys, Opie and Anthony.
Controversial radio personalities, Opie and Anthony.
Infamous DJs, Opie and Anthony.
Talk show radio hosts, Opie and Anthony.
Opie and Anthony.
Opie and Anthony.
Radio shock jocks, Opie and Anthony.
Opie and Anthony.
Shock jocks, Opie and Anthony. Shock jocks, Opie and Anthony. Opie and Anthony. Shock jocks, Opie and Anthony. Opie and Anthony.
What happened to your socks?
I don't know what happened.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yes, fast on now. I got
His skin is completely black. Oh my God.
This is where entertainment is going.
Oh, is that backfiring?
Oh my God.
Oh, Roland's got a paddle. Oh my God, Roland's on him.
Kicking Dave's ass.
Who saw this coming?
They are sick freaks.
1, 2, 3, go.
B-Rock is attempting.
Give us a thumbs up if you're all right.
Shut up! It's time for people to understand these are words. If you don't like them, turn the dial.
But enough of this palaver. Let's get the show on the road.
Let's get it on. Good morning. It's the Opie and Anthony Show, starring Jim Norton.
No one else.
Just starring Jim Norton.
For 5 hours, it's just me.
Yeah, and featuring Patrice O'Neal. How's that?
I say starring everyone.
I say feature, star.
I don't like the pressure.
I understand that. That's why we did that.
I don't like it.
Starring Jim Norton, featuring Patrice O'Neal.
Featuring, I need you to say action for me to talk.
And guest star, Gavin. How's that? That's how.
Guest star featuring.
Nah, I say starring, featuring, with special guest star Eric and an appearance by Gavin.
Yeah, an appearance by
Gavin. I like
Gavin.
Gavin to talk as much as he wants. I don't like the guest starring role. It's just going to hurt E-Rock. We'll have to deal with it for the rest of the year.
Guest star. Featuring. I don't know if I like featuring. Does that mean I get my own? All right. On the credits, do I get my own name? Is my name by myself, or I'm with 3 other names?
Yeah, you'll be part of the credits. You're not supposed to like the featuring thing. It was supposed to just bother you.
Yeah, featuring. But I don't know if guest star means never coming back.
Also.
Yeah, you're
also starring.
No, just also.
Also.
Some of those old shows just had.
How about
also?
O-N.
At the end is
like,
okay. The last one. And Patrice O'Neal as himself.
Ooh, very good. Phone number 877-212-ONA. I guess we got to get right into it and do the break we did in the lobby of the movie theater after we saw Cloverfield. Now, Jimmy and I went and saw Cloverfield, and with the rest of the gang. And I liked it. Jimmy liked it. Most of the staff liked it. I had a problem with the shaky camera work, and it got me sick. I had a motion sickness thing, which means
you didn't like it. You can't watch it. You can't watch a movie that physically makes you ill and say you like it. That's like saying I like what it could have been.
Well, I had to I didn't tell you this in the lobby, but it was getting so bad that I had to actually close my eyes, and I would listen to the dialogue. I'm like, okay. All right, someone's bleeding, and they're just talking it out a little bit. All right, back to the monsters. Now I got to open my eyes again. I had to decide when to watch the movie because the motion sickness was getting to me so bad. And then I'm thinking, I can't be alone in this. So after the movie, I ask every single person, did the shaky camera work bother you? I was the only one. Than was affected a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all. I get motion sick bad, and I love the movie.
Yeah.
You couldn't have loved it.
I really did.
You're just trying to be alternative. You're hanging out with Janine Garofalo and them.
No. I'm intimidated by their comedy. But I did like the movie. I was kind of bummed that nobody else did. I was surprised.
Well, that's not true. Jimmy thinks he was the only one. I mean, I
don't like it, but I didn't think the rest of the crew enjoyed it.
No, E-Rock loved it. Oh. Than liked it. Travis liked it.
Fan loved it. They loved it.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes in general likes it. So far, the reviews that are coming in for this movie that starts tomorrow, by the way, Cloverfield, 68% positive reviews. But Patrice is just not fun at a movie theater. He makes everybody uncomfortable. They did a screening for 12 of us, and we were uncomfortable, and we knew 10 of the people in the theater. Right?
Patrice is like your drunk date at a party. You're like, just don't tell him these things. Because I could hear him. I was like 5 rows behind Patrice, and I could just hear him. I knew it was critical.
The movie, there was no one more excited to go to this thing.
Well, you like monster movies, right?
I love monster movies.
Yeah.
I love monster movies, but this particular, I don't know what you call it in the genre. Mm-hmm. It's just an exercise in yuppie heroes. You know what it was about this movie? Too much, what do you call it? Suspension of disbelief. Too much. Too many things that made me go, this. It was, you know what what this movie was? It was the middle of a monster movie as the whole movie. It was no, okay, guys dropping, the guys taking a dump in the lake and tuna turned into a giant porpoise or giant monster.
Right,
there was no oil. There was no evil corporation thing. And I know dumb, Danny was saying how it was a Chinese this and that, but it was no explanation. I wanted that movie to be a movie.
You want it to be a Hollywood movie. Cloverfield's trying to do something a little different.
Yeah,
this is very, very different than most. Than every monster movie that came before it. The longness of the party, the build up trying to get you to care about these people was ridiculous.
See, I didn't think it was that long, only because when you look at like a lot of movies, look how long Kong took with build up. I mean, and Peter Jackson got criticized for a 3-hour movie. Mm-hmm. But you didn't see Kong for the first hour,
as you should have. What I enjoyed about it was the possibilities of the movie. The possibilities. But the entire movie in this... And another thing, that meathead that was carrying the camera...
Yeah.
They was trying to do it in like some weird Blair Witch style.
Yeah, the whole movie is what's on a camcorder. I want to make that perfectly clear so people understand. And they're at a party in the beginning where someone's going away, and just like we all have done, you walk around with a camera and getting people talking and saying nonsense. That scene went on forever, and you knew it was going to lead to.
Can we systematically go like each step in this other way?
Yeah, I just don't want to give away the movie to the people that are going to see it tomorrow. But sure,
let me know if I'm giving it away. But the guy who's filming the movie,
yes, no good.
Okay. The guy who's filming the movie goes from, oh gosh, sucks, I don't know if I should be touching this camera,
right,
to super Asian tourist. Like he goes from, oh gee whiz, I don't know if I know how to even work the thing, into I am going to film this attack
in Zoom.
For prosperity.
Yeah.
Where if you go to 9/11, no one keeps the camera on the situation for more than 30 seconds, because you're like, I got to free my hands up to run as fast as my 2 ball fists will do this.
Right.
Will do the run move. This guy is...
Basically, I don't have time to film this thing.
Nobody has time to film the movie.
And he is right, because all of a sudden this guy was handed the camera at the party, like, here, could you just film some stuff so he remembers his friends and stuff, and the going away party when he's in Japan. I think he was going.
Then we get to 9/11. The 9/11 meets OJ meets Watts Riots meets Godzilla. Bothered me to no end.
Really?
It bothered me.
A couple of scenes
to no end.
Like what? Like
the building falling down in the background, and then the
afterfall,
the smoke coming down the
smoke.
street. We've seen that footage a million times. The only difference, this was in the dark instead of in the daytime.
But it's almost like that's a tough thing, because if a movie's going to make a monster movie in New York, you're going to have that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't win with that one. Man. Spider-Man took the towers out.
You can win with it.
Not with big buildings falling down.
But don't knock them down.
Why?
Don't knock them down.
Tell it to the monster.
And no, right. And no more sexual harassment of the Statue of Liberty. It just don't make sense. It just, the movie, okay, if it didn't try to also make points, it was trying to also be something other than what it was, which was, okay, it was quite spectacular in terms of the way the camera was doing what it was doing.
They didn't have to cheat as much as you'd think to accomplish what they accomplished.
Right. It was too much stuff that it was making me sick. It was like, and not the movement, just gimme. Are they looting where the giant creature is smashing buildings? What are you trying to say?
That really bothered you.
About the evil of New York.
At least they had threw a few white guys in there looting for you.
Right, exactly.
Talk about suspension of disbelief.
Exactly. Which is what bothered me.
Patrice saw the looting scene. I was sitting relatively close to Patrice, and he was bothered. Like, there we go. This is what we do in disasters. But then I noticed they sprinkled a few white guys in there.
Just to make it like we're all crazy.
Right.
It was so purposely done. Why didn't this guy with the camera take a train up to Harlem and film him looting as the monsters attacking Manhattan? Do you understand? What it was this. It was trying to give you that documentary feel, but it was filming scenes. Mm-hmm. He was filming scenes as if it was a regular movie. So here's the monster right on top of his face. And he goes to film his dumb friend and his two girlfriends over in the corner hiding when Mr. Creature
is right above his head.
Right there. You don't move the camera or you throw the camera and run.
Is it possible that he was moving the camera? Some of the stuff they did where he would just kind of move the camera the way you would move it without regards to what it caught. And, of course, it's a movie. They have you catch what you need to see. But, I mean, there are certain things that it was a little like...
So make it a movie.
But you have to cheat a little bit.
Where's the scientist that goes, my God, you don't know what you're dealing with? Where's the general that goes, we have to plan on... It should have been Godzilla.
Because that movie's been done a million times. Yeah. They were just trying to do something different.
It's kind
you got to understand that much.
Look, I get the thing they were trying to do.
Right.
I want monster movie. It's the way they did it. I think it could have made it. It could have been good if they had did it just like a movie.
See, they got a lot of stuff across in this weird, like they showed the panic. We just said there's a scene on a bridge, which is like, I talked the other day, just said something really bad happens on a bridge. And the way the camera is shaking and it's spun around when he runs the other direction, it's like that's what it would look like if you were videotaping.
Some
and
kind
people
of crazy
videotape
disaster.
Everything now.
Yeah.
They videotape everything. There was a guy inside the towers on 9/11, and he videoed, like the guys who were making that documentary. People would loot.
Yeah.
Maybe they were just doing that because they don't know how you'd react if a monster walked through, so they're trying to make it realistic.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know what I mean?
How would you act if a monster just was strolling through New York?
I'd be sitting on a pile of logs.
You would be. No. You would not do. That suspension of disbelief.
You would just hide in a basement.
It just was too much.
Hey, all right, listen. Oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
If you said to people at one point, like after a tremendous flood, where people were stuck in the Superdome and dying, people would be looting. You know, before Katrina, you would have said that's crazy. Nobody would loot during that. People loot during everything. The LA riots. Anytime there's like a thing where there's a mass movement of people, there are people that are going to loot. It's almost like they don't believe what is happening around them, so they'll go in there and loot. I mean, that's
and what did you love about the movie?
I don't know what. The fact that it was different, the fact that I thought that it happened, it felt like that's probably the way. As much as you could feel the way a real monster would feel coming in, that's how it would feel. Like there's a shock, the lights go out a little bit, nobody knows what's going on. I like the way they filmed the television to give you certain news reports. I like the way they gave you like a top angle, because there was no way for them to show you a top angle of this monster and this mayhem.
Oh, no, there was a way. There was a way.
I'm making it a movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, I kind of like the fact that they stuck with this.
They stuck with the concept all the way to the end.
Yeah, and I like the fact that he showed them just arguing outside.
Let me go help this broad that I slept with one day ago.
Well, that's
still best friends. They're good friends.
Yeah, let me get
She's dead.
They were good friends.
No, she's dead.
You wouldn't have went back
in real life. Look, I'm not even saying it trying to be Mr. Evil. Well, she's dead.
But they needed a reason for them to go from downtown to midtown, and the reason was a little lame.
Yeah.
I mean, they were friends for a while, and they slept together once, and he needed to save her, and it was like...
He left his lucky lamb chop bone would have been as good as a thing to go do as save her.
Hey, I got to jump in here and get a couple other things out, because we don't want to spend too much more time on this, because we have a busy show ahead of us, but Patrice just making comments to the screen the entire movie, and then Jeffrey Lyons was in there. He's a very, very famous movie reviewer, and all of a sudden the credits roll, and what'd you say? Half a star.
Half a star. And old funky Jeffrey goes, What did he say?
No one asked you.
No one asked you.
And then he marches out to take his popcorn dump.
I wonder what he gave it. Do you know what he gave it?
It hasn't come out yet. It'll be interesting because we saw the movie with this guy. So, but you go boo.
I
one
should have. You
star,
know, if
half
my
a star.
mind was working, I would have said, Jeffrey, I have the same job as you right now. Shut up. Like as good as I'm just as good as you right now.
Dan?
The other choice Patrice comment was, obviously it's a monster movie. The camera takes quite a beating. And I guess Patrice didn't buy that the camera would survive some of the horrific stuff. And just, something terrible happens to the group, and you just hear Patrice go, must be a Sony.
Yeah, it must be. That had to be a Sony. Boy, what battery life. Really? You got attacked by parasites? He got chewed up? His head
We figured
fell
out
off?
the battery thing. Jimmy nailed it yesterday.
The battery, what you were watching, and again, without giving the whole movie away, what you're watching is what's on a videotape.
Right.
The movie is an hour and a half long, so you're watching an hour and a half of what's on the videotape. So, like, when it looked like there was a moment where they're downtown, and all of a sudden they run up to 59th Street, and it looks like there's 5 movie minutes have passed, you're watching what's on a videotape. So, obviously, he turned the camera off a lot, as the way people would. He kept turning. You don't see him turning the camera on and off, because when you're watching a videotape, you don't physically see the guy turning the camera on and off. You were seeing the results of an hour and a half on a videotape.
Right. And that's what was interesting, because the scenes would just jump, and you're like, whoa, why would it jump like that? Well, the reason, because the guy, stopped the filming.
I like the fact that the things Patrice finds unbelievable are the battery life, but not that there was a monster in New York.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I said it was the middle. It's like if they filmed King Kong, if they started on the island and then ended when he got gassed.
Yeah.
That's
all right. Listen, we're heading toward our first break, but the first review in the New York paper came out. I want to make it clear that so far Rotten Tomatoes likes this movie. 68% positive reviews as far as the reviews coming in, and we're going to have Jay Abrams on the show. I think tomorrow.
When's the casting? JJ's next week. The cast
next week?
Tomorrow,
Oh, the cast might be coming in tomorrow. So this guy, Lou Luminick, writes, Cloverfield combines unpleasantness and stupidity to a degree that would be difficult to match unless you were stuck in bed with a case of the shingles while being forced to watch The Ghost Whisperer.
At least the guy's funny.
That's... As the Blair Witch Project meets Godzilla meets the Banana Republic catalog, I'm not sure who suffered more, the characters or me. I was forced to write down page after page of dialogue. I had a problem with some of the dialogue myself. Like this, and then he gives examples of the dialogue. What the hell was that? Oh, God, this is nasty. This is like a nightmare, After the monster tries to drag one of the screamers away.
Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Did he prefer it when Will Smith was jumping around going, hey, it's raining black folks in Men in Black? Is that the type of monster movie dialogue he wants?
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
No,
though.
but I'm saying like the cornball, not even Will Smith, or the cornball stuff that they said in Independence Day.
But there was no cornball moments in the movie.
In what?
In that movie, there was not one place where a cornball moment should have been happening.
In what, this monster movie?
In Cloverfield.
Oh, yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, he's like looking at the dialogue like that. You don't know how people are really going to react. At least the dialogue, I think, was attempting realism.
This is a visceral makes me sick. That's what this review is. This is visceral.
After the monster tries to drag one of the screamers away, we get, what's up with that? Someone who's bleeding from the eyeballs is asked, are you okay?
She's bleeding from the eyeballs.
And one who has nearly been ripped apart alive in the last part of the movie, whatever. You're saying, this is the dialogue, you're saying this isn't attractive looking?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, she was...
And you and your camera theory, it was a whole... Half of the movie was down in the train station, and they were just talking, and that was a moment of turn the camera off.
Oh yeah, probably right. Okay, but again, there's certain things they had to cheat just to make it like they had to a little bit.
I know.
That's
I know. And I just wanted it to be better.
And they bring up the Patrice thing that you mentioned. Why does everyone risk their lives going to a friend's place to rescue her when they have no reason to believe she's still there?
Guy did have reason to believe she was still there because he heard a message from her in the
cell phone.
On the cell phone. And the bottom line is
that she was stuck in her apartment or something.
The fact that they slept together.
Would you save your girlfriend under that circumstances? Be honest.
I don't think I would save her if it was. I can't think of a more trite example. No, I'm selfish.
But this wasn't even.
If it was raining frisbees,
this wasn't even a girlfriend.
Right. Absolutely. I'd put a little bandana around her neck and say, "Go catch one in your teeth." I'm hiding.
that part
wasn't even a girlfriend, though.
I couldn't overlook Opie. I couldn't overlook.
They were friends, and then they were starting to fall in love.
His desperation to save this girl who not only brought another dude to a party, he had called a dirt man. It's just his need to save her in this situation. Just it was too many. It was too many times to go. F this.
He loved her, though. Don't you remember, like, they showed them when the guy's walking around the party going, so-and-so slept with her. No one could believe it because they were such good friends for a long time. And then the camera, which I like, they show briefly the argument in the hallway where the guy goes, you hear them arguing. She's like, you never called me. Like, he hurt her. He had sex with her. They were really close. They had sex. And then he never called her again. So she showed up with this guy at the party, and then he insults them walking out, going, "Hey, good luck to you." Right. And he regretted saying that to this girl that he loved.
I've seen the movie. I understand the love, but there's not even like I love my mother, and I'm almost thinking I just do the cross, the Mexican cross over my heart to say, "Ma, I hope my mother makes it." Yeah. I don't know if I did. They fought lice or whatever was falling off the thing. They fought the And I got it
real fast.
How many monsters were there?
I don't know. They don't necessarily.
We don't know.
I'm not sure.
They don't give us much.
There's probably another movie coming.
Yeah,
they might not tell you a lot of stuff. Just like you wouldn't know.
I know what they could do now. They can now make a real movie. Think about that to explain everything.
I hope JJ's listening to you. Please.
Well, I'm going to tell him to make another movie. When we talk to him.
I liked it. I hope they do it the same way, but with a bunch of different videotapes. I liked it. I really liked it, man.
There you go.
I'm going to ask you about this one part.
Maybe they find more videotapes. Okay. They set it up that there could definitely be another movie if this does well. Cloverfield, it opens tomorrow. Very busy show. We got Patrice O'Neill in studio today. Bob Grant calling in at 7 o'clock. There's something just outrageous happened to this guy. He's a radio legend. He was supposed to get a Lifetime Achievement Award, and R&R, it's Radio Records. They decided not to give him the Lifetime Achievement Award after saying he was getting one. And there's a lot of rumblings that it might have something to do with Reverend Al. Bob Grant has been accused over the years in his career of being racist. He has said some crazy things over the years, but that's whatever.
It's just disgusting.
Right.
It's disgusting that they took this award back.
So we're going to talk to him at 7 o'clock. That should be very, very interesting because he doesn't hold back whatsoever. No. We also have Sylvester Stallone calling in around 8 o'clock today, which is a huge coup for the Opie and Anthony show. Of course, Rambo coming out soon. And Andrew Morton, who wrote the book on Tom Cruise, he's going to be stopping by to talk about that book.
Yep.
So we're very, very busy today. It's Opie and Anthony. Stay there. You're checking out the Opie and Anthony show. Good morning to everybody. Phone number 877-212-ONA. Moving on to other things. Jimmy sent out an email yesterday to everybody. He's pretty much outraged about Bob Grant. I don't know if the rest of America knows Bob Grant. I mean, he is huge in the radio world.
Bob Grant was a real conservative. He was the first talk radio I really listened to. On ABC in New York, he was an afternoon guy, and they would replay him late at night because they didn't really have like a late night guy. So I'd drive to gigs, and me and Otto would listen to Bob Grant on the way home, and he made me laugh harder than any comedy show I've ever listened to. Bob was a brutal guy in a good way, though. He spoke his mind. He didn't pull punches. He was politically incorrect. And that got him fired eventually from Disney here in New York when Ron Brown's plane went down. I think Bob Grant said something to the effect like, well, they say that he died, but then again, I'm an optimist. And I'm paraphrasing it, but it was something like that.
Right, basically hinting that he was very happy that this guy died in a plane crash.
Yeah.
He was known to say a bunch of racist things in his radio career. He still does radio, by the way.
Yes, he does on WOR.
And,
Is it ABC again? Oh, good.
Yeah, they brought him back. Good. And if he didn't like a caller, like let's say an old lady didn't agree with Bob Grant, he would basically tell her that he's going to knock her teeth out. And he meant it. That was the beauty of him. It wasn't like he was trying to be shocking. The stuff he said, he meant. He meant. So Radio Records, it's one of these trade rags. It's a very popular trade rag. I don't really acknowledge them. I think they're a bunch of pompous a-holes. But they're giving Bob Grant a Lifetime Achievement Award, and they're doing their huge R&R convention where they get together and they kiss each other's ass. Everybody in radio, not everybody in radio, and I have never gone to one of these things, but they all get together and just smooch each other's you-know-whats and drink and get prostitutes and drugs and,
Yeah.
and make believe they're working.
You should have made it look like a less fun event.
Well, true.
No, it's terrible. They're just drinking at hookers and overeating on cake.
Good point. I just described a very fun party.
Yeah, I know.
And so he was supposed to get the Lifetime Achievement Award, and at the last minute they decided that they looked at his body of work and they don't want to give it to him after all. So the whole radio world pretty much is outraged.
Yeah, because I guess if they're going to yank awards due to political feelings or being even racist or racially, I bet they better yank Ty Cobb out of the Hall of Fame, or they better do it to a million other people who have had other opinions that a lot of people wouldn't like. It's
right.
Like the guy is a radio legend, whether you agree with him or not, whether you like him or not. He absolutely deserved the award, and it's sickening that they took it and decided not to give it.
And R&R is insisting that it's about his body of work after they looked at it a second time. But here's a little interesting tidbit about the whole thing. The convention is going to have Reverend Al on the panel and doing his thing, and people are starting to think that people might have started emailing R&R going, how could you give a Lifetime Achievement Award to someone that, quote, could possibly be a racist?
So all these years of racism, he never had a nappy-headed comment there?
No,
not really.
I mean, he had that Ron Brown comment got him fired, which it shouldn't have. I mean, it was an impolite thing to say.
What do you say about Ron Brown?
After that Ron Brown's plane crashed, Bob Grant said,
right.
Yeah, and they fired him for it. I hate firestorms when people say something that isn't nice. I'm not even gonna say shouldn't say. Who cares if he said it?
Right.
You don't like him, don't listen.
So it's a respect the dead thing. I never knew how long you had before you didn't have to respect the dead anymore.
I mean, in the old days of radio, whatever, anything goes as long as you follow the FCC regulations. But we live in a new world where you could say something stupid and you could get fired. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So Bob Grant's coming on around 7 o'clock, and I'm sure he's not going to be shy about the whole thing. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big Bob Grant fan, and I think it's just
we met him when we were working at John Minnelli brought him through the hallways of NEW back in the day, and we pretty much left our radio show just to get a picture with him and shake his hand and meet the guy. That's how important he is in radio, to me anyway.
I've never heard of this race.
He's an older guy, and I remember he said to a guy one time, it was some gay guy called in. It's amazing what would go through over the airwaves, even like this is probably 10 years ago. And the guy was like saying that he wanted to do things to Bob. Sexual things. The guy started talking, and he's like, I want to do this to you, Bob. And Bob hung up, and he goes, by this time next week, I hope you have a full-blown case of the virus. Next caller, you're on ABC. I love him. He was unapologetic. He would never wink and giggle at his own stuff. He just plowed. Bob was great, man.
Yeah, he was crotchety.
Bob was great. When he was cranky, there was times where you just knew he wasn't feeling good.
So what happened to him? Why
ABC fired him, and then he eventually got another job at OR, and then.
And how famous is this guy?
Bob.
As far as New York radio goes,
legendary.
He's huge.
He's a legend?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bob Grant.
Way up there.
Okay, I'm just
way up there. I'm not sure if he ever got syndicated. I don't know. Maybe he did.
He, by the way, he is 8 to 10 p.m. on 77 ABC. So good for Fareed and those guys for
and good for a lot of the radio guys out there. Sticking up for Bob Grant. Not just people that work with him at ABC. Other shows are jumping on this as well, which is kind of cool to see. All right. In other news, Eddie Murphy and his wife split after 2 weeks of marriage.
Oh my God!
What is that about?
Wow.
What are we going to find out about that?
She wasn't funny.
She wasn't funny?
Yeah, she just wasn't funny.
She never swallowed.
She didn't laugh. She didn't like trading places.
Yeah. Why would they make him homeless? Oh, Patrice, can I say Patrice's Def Jam set? God damn it. Your bit on how women are so literal and annoying, and you can't have fun with them by he's
hypothetically challenged.
What was the example you used? You could just walk up to a guy and go, "Hey, would you sleep with a bitch without a nose?" and it was how the men would debate it back and forth, and the women would be like, "Why
would you do? You can't breathe if you don't have a nose. You can't live without a nose. I'll take you to the nose doctor to get a nose." I was reading a book about noses, and it said you can't live just awful conversation, and it all stems from how come you don't? They'll hear me and you on the phone talking about it, and she'll, your girl listens to the conversation you and your boy have. And then she'll go, how come you don't talk to me like you talk to your friends? I'm cool like them. I'm fun like them.
Oh, boy.
All right, so would you sleep with a guy if he didn't have a nose?
What?
That's just and then Transformers is like a car turning into a robot? That's stupid. Where's the wheels? Where's the wheels when he turns into a robot? And then they come back out of nowhere. Where's the windshield wipers? This is stupid.
Hey, is that on demand on HBO?
I think so. I think it's
some people can check that out. Patrice O'Neal. Yeah, absolutely. So you got Eddie Murphy splitting after 2 weeks of marriage.
There's speculation, but
well,
he's still too King Kongish to be speculating. I don't know who the hell knows why Eddie did that.
Yeah, you want to work with Eddie someday, or at least keep that possibility.
Well, I would
open,
like
right?
to work with J.J. Abrams, but I blew that one.
They sure
did. I don't want Charlie looking for me.
Where's the Murphy story? I'm sure I have it somewhere.
It's they decide after 2 weeks that they're better off being friends.
Wait a minute. Now let me ask you a question. I don't know who knows about divorce, but he got divorced from this other lady, his baby's mama's, But I'm wondering if the guy gets married, can he stop giving his money to his ex-wife?
I don't think so. No, only if she gets married.
Yeah, she's got to remarry and then.
Oh, he doesn't get
all
off.
bets
He
are
gets
off.
married. Okay.
No. So I don't know. Also coming out today, this morning, I should say, Ike Turner died of the cocaine.
It's speculation. Don't just say that.
That's not speculation. That is the coroner's report.
That might be stuff left over from 1970 when he last beat Tina.
He could be the oldest guy that's still doing coke.
I don't know.
How old was he? Like
76, and he died of a cocaine overdose. How do you not love Ike?
God bless Ike.
He was still punching 18-year-olds.
I love him even more now.
76 cocaine overdose. That's got to be a record.
The best scene in What Love Got to Do with It is after she records with Phil Spector. Tina Turner's an amazing song called River Deep, Mountain High, which Phil Spector set up an orchestra for. It's a beautiful song, but she did it without Ike Turner. And when he heard that, he knew she didn't need him. Like, I think Ike understood, like, I'm the weak link here, or I'm the softer of the two, whatever he understood. And he's like, damn, Anna Mae, that was a good song. And you just know she's going to catch a black eye for it. You knew by his praising it that he was really bothered. And she was going to catch a good fist to the face.
And that is, you just know, sometimes you believe in that karma if you want, but he did coke and beat women till he died of old age.
Right.
I mean, a very fair age of 77. I would be
That's an
so
extremely
proud to live
fair
till
age
77.
if you're doing cocaine.
And I just saw him.
That's like in regular years, that's got to be like 120.
Yeah,
he just lived
white
to
people
120.
And what? No, that's long because if you do the white people, black people years,
right.
I'm 120. 77-year-old black man that does coke. He's a 196-year-old white man.
That's right.
At least.
That's right.
He's at least 196 years old.
Now, should he not be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Because he was a rock pioneer. I mean, Ike Turner.
Don't try to push it to your boy, Bob Grant.
No, I'm saying, of course he should be. Of course he should be.
All right.
Without a doubt, he should be. I mean, you can do that with any rock singer, all the things they do. So why would it be any different for a radio guy? I mean, Ike was wonderful. I love Ike.
Right.
I told you I was with a prostitute one time, and she was doing things to me. And this is the truth.
Can you tell us, talk in code, what kind of things, Jimmy?
Oh.
All right.
Don't kiss her.
That's boring in your world.
Don't kiss her.
That's boring in your world. I thought we were going to get something a little better than that.
That's all she was doing. If she burps.
Wait, no.
No.
Whoa, hey.
Well, no air leaks.
What?
No,
I don't know.
No, that's fine.
It's all right. Just stay right there.
No,
you're fine.
I wasn't going no place
right.
else.
I don't want to
see that stop sign. Stop.
I don't want to say what she was doing.
Boop.
But
what? Jimmy always freaking does mouthwash at this part in the show.
The funniest thing was this. Picture a girl doing this. Just picture this. Picture a girl, because I'll never forget, I'm in a hotel, and the TV wasn't working too well, and there's an Ike Turner interview on TV. And the girl was, like, doing what she was doing, and then her eyes were diverted to the right. And I'm like, this bitch is watching an Ike Turner interview And he's there going, I never hit my wife. And she's like, and I'm like, I had to turn it off. I'm like, this is distracting me. But it was annoying me.
More interested than your peeled baked potatoes.
Watching an Ike Turner interview. That was a beautiful one.
Wow.
You should have watched it too.
I know I should have. But I was losing tenacity quickly. And she was on the clock. I don't think she would have sat there and watched the interview and then finished up when Ike was done talking.
A price of not come back.
Yeah, well, we got Patrice in today, which is perfect for this next story. This story just hit the wire there. Hold on a second. As it cues up, I want to play some.
Let my people go. Let my people go.
From American Idol the other night. Yeah,
I heard the ratings were down for that dumb show.
Yeah, that's still really strong, but lowest rated premiere in 4 years.
Let my people go.
You'll be singing that later. That's my job today.
Let my people go.
You'll be imitating that sometime today. Anyway.
Well, they said 33.4 million people saw it, but it's like everyone's DVRing and no one watches stuff live, or a lot of people don't watch it live anymore, especially in the beginning when there's no one getting eliminated, so who cares?
It's the same old crap.
Yeah.
I used to love that show, but now it's like it's the same stuff, and they're like kind of getting the Carrie Underwood looking person, and they're getting the rock guy, and they're getting the chick that might be gay, might not be, and then it's just...
I was angry at myself last year for how much I was into it. And
because you were falling in love with
Sanjaya.
Oh yeah,
Sanjaya,
that delicious piece of thing. Yeah.
Yes,
and I just
remember we had a lot of discussions about that. You got angry because of the feelings you had toward that.
He just was because I've met.
It angered Patrice.
He's a bloke.
Yeah, but there's some dudes that are so gay that if you like them as a straight man, you're not gay.
Yeah. Like equilibrium.
Yeah, he's
remember you said that when criticizing your old pal.
He's a girl, but a lot of those dudes are dudes still.
Oh, don't be so fresh.
Oh, God.
He was so effeminate. There was just a little X chromosome that he missed.
You would have not only hit it, but you would have done like the pointer and middle finger on the cheek afterwards, like the gentle.
You know what I would have did with him? I tell you what I would have did with him.
Tenderness.
If I was a pimp, I would have put Sanjay out there. Like I would have put him out there because I would know how much money he could make.
He can make you very rich. Right?
Oh man, if I was a pimp,
you'd be a bottom bitch.
No, you can't have a dude bottom bitch. But for the other dudes, if he wanted to get other dudes, but for him, he was such a girl. That you gotta you put him out there and you would make a lot of money.
Was he wearing like the makeup and all the dresses?
Just these delicious hairdos.
Yeah. Delicious.
Oh, they just the perfect thickness. It was Sanjay was, and his sister was phenomenal. Just to put those two out there.
Oh, she was beautiful.
Oh, him and his sister.
I didn't see her.
I never saw her either.
Sanjaya with longer hair, basically.
Yeah. I want to see him.
And a couple bumps in front.
His sister was she had to be I don't even know the back size, but she had to be a 34D.
Did she look
natural?
Did she look like him as well?
No,
They
looked like they could have been twins. Anyway, all right. Well. We meet Kyle. We're going to give you a little taste of American Idol last night. This is Kyle.
My name is Kyle Reinick, and I'm going to be the next rock sensation on American Idol. I'm a pretty hardcore rocker. I like rocking.
I'm a pretty hardcore rocker.
It's like rocking back and forth on your hands and knees. With a gentleman's hands. Of course you do. You're rocking because you want it to hurt.
He likes bob and roll.
Oh, God.
I'm pretty hardcore
Can't say
rocker. I like rocking. The look kind of speaks for itself, you know. The shirt says, "Do you idol Kyle?" And I got all my fans here signing the eyeliner, or guy liner, as I should say. It kind of adds to the rocking out. When I get into my performances, I'm pretty edgy. I haven't seen myself rock out, but I've heard that I'm pretty intense.
All right, he's intense, he's a rocker, he's pretty edgy. What do you think he sounds like?
Pretty well. He sounds pretty wild. I can't say anything odd about his voice.
Whoa, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm sure it's a tribute to Blondie.
Saying nothing.
All right, so tell me about yourself, man. What are you going to sing, man?
Kelly Clarkson, Never Again.
Of course.
After saying he's edgy. He's out there. He's a rocker. He's going to sing a Kelly Clarkson song.
All right, so tell me about yourself, man. What are you going to sing, man?
Kelly Clarkson, Never Again.
All right, cool.
I would never wish bad things, but I don't wish you well. Could you tell by the flames that burned away? I never read your letter, 'cause I knew what you'd say. Well, give me that Sunday school answer and try to make it all okay. Does it hurt to know I'll never be there? Bet it sucks. I've seen my face everywhere. It was you who chose to end it like you did. I was the last to know you knew exactly what you would do.
That's good.
That should come with AZT pills.
They should.
Sounds like Elton John.
Who?
Elton John.
Who's that? Oh, Elton John. I swear to God, I thought he said Allison John.
I heard Allison John, too.
Allison John.
Allison John.
Allison John.
Allison John.
And he'll be another dude that makes $1 million from sucking.
Nah.
Not first week out. No,
Nah,
you got to be booted a little bit later.
He's obviously he's booted, and he's not a rocker. He just sucks.
But did you guys notice on Idol, it's so weird that sometimes some of those singers, they're so terrible. It's like, what are they showing them on TV for? But you know Simon's going to get them. Simon's fresh.
Whoa, unpredictable this show is.
Yeah, whoa. What the hell's going to happen? Look out. I hope Simon doesn't see that.
Dogs.
Wow, they didn't know ahead of time. That's a little weird.
Yeah, how'd they not screen this more carefully? Simon's really going to go nuts.
Giving Simon some fodder, looks like. Whoa.
God, could Simon be with two bigger boars, too? Could they get I mean, of all the black guys, how about Paul Mooney? How nice would that be?
Right.
Or just somebody who really hates white people.
Yeah, but it works. I mean, this freaking show is huge. I love your old bit on American Idol. How you and Simon. And how Simon beats up these kids that have this dream and just destroys what they look like, what they sound like, their personalities, everything about them. And Jimmy used to do a bit about how you would love to see Simon do that in front of young rap guys that are trying to make it.
I haven't done the bit in years to actually like him now. It was something about his cowardice and how he wouldn't talk to Def Jam or what Def Jam. What was Suge's label? I don't remember the bit. Death Row. Thanks, Death Row.
Yeah, say the same crap to these young wrap up starts. He would never do that. But you know what? I think people turned as far as Simon goes because he's showing the other side of him finally. That he's kind of.
What's the other side?
He's got that little heart beating in his chest.
I don't mind that
he shows that part now.
Yeah, now he can after 17 years of $10 million a day. So now he can come out and it doesn't even matter.
Well, this show's big in England too, right? He's got an Idol.
He got another one.
He's got it all over the world.
He's got little things starting.
And wait, you know what else is his? The Invention Show is his.
Yep.
And the other Idol for anybody on NBC.
America's Got Talent.
Yeah, that's his too.
X Factor. We call it X Factor back home. Same program.
What America's Got Talent?
Yeah, anything goes.
Is it good?
I don't really watch them myself personally, but it's massive back home. I mean,
it's humongous,
man. It's massive back home. He's big business back home as well.
Yeah, he's got something with Sharon Osbourne.
Think he's a billionaire?
Oh,
gotta be. He's gotta be way up there.
I like him, man. I like him. He's big home. I like him.
Hey, we're heading toward another break here, and
the great Bob Grant at 7:00.
Yeah,
very happy.
Right after the commercials, we're going to talk to Bob Grant. It should be interesting if he speaks his mind. I think he will.
Yeah.
All right, stay there. It's Opie and Anthony. You're checking out the Opie and Anthony Show. We got Bob Grant standing by. You want to explain before we go to him?
Bob Grant, for those of you that don't live in the New York area, I'm sure you know him all over the country. He's a radio legend here in New York. And he's said a lot of things that bothered a lot of people, which in this country is not really allowed anymore, unless, of course, you're attacking from a certain political ideology, then it's acceptable in free thinking. But if you're attacking from Grant's point of view, it was considered racist and inappropriate. So whatever, he was fired from ABC, came back, and he's supposed to get a Lifetime Achievement Award, which he deserved, and R&R backed off on it.
That's right.
Due to just being cowards and pressure.
And this is what R&R printed up, I think, yesterday. Award withdrawn. Upon further review and consideration of Bob Grant's complete body of work, Radio and Records has withdrawn its decision to present the 2008 News Talk Sports Lifetime Industry Achievement Award to Mr. Grant. R&R is sensitive to the diversity of our community and does not want the presentation of an award to Mr. Grant to imply our endorsement of past comments by him that contradict our values and the respect we have for all members of our community. Holy F!
Do you know, reading that, it makes my jaw move to the other side. It's so despicable and such smarmy, just apologetic liberal crap. It is. Let's just talk to Bob. It's just disgusting.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the great Bob Grant. Bob.
Good morning, gentlemen.
How are you, Bob? You sound like Anthony. That's how Anthony does you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, Bob, we're completely outraged that this is happening to you. When did they tell you that they were not going to give you the Lifetime Achievement Award?
Yesterday, a little bit before noontime, I got a phone call from a young lady who was not the young lady who had originally called me to tell me R&R had selected me and asked me to be the recipient. It was somebody else. She was very nervous, identified herself as Cindy, and it was painful to hear how nervous she was, and she finally got to the point. And she said, well, we are going to rescind our invitation to you. And naturally, I asked why, and she said, well, upon reviewing the body of your work, you could tell she was reading it. And I said, well, you mean to say you didn't do any research on me before you decided to give me the award? She was completely at a loss when I asked her that question.
Yeah.
Well, Bob, let me ask you, when you heard about this, I mean, you know who you are and you know your successes in radio. Were you like really honored to get this, or was it just more aggravating when they took it?
No, actually, when they told me that they would like me to be the recipient, I said to Heather Cohen, who was the woman who called originally, I said, are you serious, really? I said, well, I'm honored, and I was. I'm not going to be, be phony here and say, nah, I wasn't honored at all. I thought it was fine. And guess what, guys? I've been in this business for so long, and I've been a pathfinder for a lot of people, including you too. And I think I do deserve something like that. But this isn't going to ruin my life. But what it does do, I hope, is destroy R&R. I mean, there are too many people that say, ooh, R&R, ooh, R&R, and yet I'm getting calls from individuals who claim they're going to boycott the affair at the Renaissance Hotel in Washington, D.C. on March 13th.
And that's a biggie, because that's a big party every year. I mean, you got the hookers, you got the drugs, you got the alcohol, you got the ass-kissing going on. So to boycott that's tough for a lot of radio guys to do.
Well, they said they're going to do it, but between now and then, who knows?
Yeah.
I have learned, as you guys might have learned, that at the beginning, when the shock first hits, you've got a lot of friends, and then suddenly they peel off. They fade away. And
they scatter like cockroaches, don't they, Bob? Don't they? You find out who your real friends are.
Well, that's it, the real friends. Now, I think this goes, and guys, I'm not being political here at all, but I think this goes beyond me. It goes beyond you. It goes beyond any individual. What does it say about the state of America today?
Well, it's very typical of what's been going on. I mean, it used to be that, if you said unpopular things or politically incorrect things or what went against the grain, it was considered kind of free thinking. But now it just seems where it's switched, and the people that fought for that which was the left, have become the most restrictive. And you had a brilliant quote. It hurts me, but I think it also hurts everybody, because is this what America has become? Is this Salem in 1692, where someone accuses you of being a witch and you're presumed guilty? That pretty much is it. They got a few complaints about honoring you, and they rescinded it because they're cowards.
Is that what happened, Bob? A lot of people started emailing from maybe some special interest groups?
Or a couple of people.
One guy. I'm not even going to mention his name, but it's been identified. As a matter of fact, he's bragging about it. And the reason I'm not mentioning his name is that's precisely what he wants. But this is a guy who has been stalking me for, at least 20 years. And his whole life is an obsession with me.
Well, how did one guy get this done then? You got some more people behind him, or?
Recklessness of corporations, people in general.
Why?
That's all you have to do is point the finger. Now, I said to someone from the Washington Times who called for an interview, I said, well, what about some of these charges? I said, what charges? Well, that you're a racist. I said, what is a racist? Would you please tell me? And if you can tell me what a racist is, would you please identify a few? And leave me out for a moment. I won't have my feelings hurt. And she couldn't do that. And then I asked her if she knew of anything I had said. And when was it? And she went back to April 3rd, 1996. I said, oh, something in 1996. I said, even if I said something that was illegal, wouldn't the statute of limitations apply here? And she said, well, you did say that about Ron Brown? I said, what did I say about Ron Brown?
Do you regret?
Guys, your intent is to entertain.
Yep.
And you like to get laughs, and if you didn't like to get laughs, you wouldn't be as good as you are. But I like to get laughs, too, and I thought it was a little humorous what I said about being, the famous quote, which was really one of the most innocuous things I've said.
Yep.
Yeah, you probably said a lot worse that no one picked up on, right?
Yeah, right. So
that's
said,
usually
really,
the case. Like they point to what I'm
later or so.
Well,
and suddenly it's like I just said it yesterday.
Right.
It is amazing how Jesse Jackson is forgiven, or other people are forgiven for these things they say that are politically, incorrect or vicious, because time has passed, and if you dredge up their past, you're seen as not letting go and letting people move on. Mm-hmm. And yet, a white guy that made a remark like that, it's very safe for them to continue attacking 12 years later. And just this guy, whoever it is that's stalking you, is probably a liberal guy, and it's the bane of his existence that he just cannot reach you and make you speak the way he wants you to speak and think the way he wants you to think.
And it's really sad that R&R just buckled and
why?
And is listening to this one guy, and I don't know. I just don't understand why R&R is doing the same thing that special interest groups are attempting to do to radio.
Have you been attacking this on your show, Bob? You're on Bob's on ABC. What are you on every? Is 8 to 10? Is it Monday through Friday?
Well, sadly, I'm not going to be on tonight because I think they're carrying a hockey game or a football game.
Well, that's some great programming. If I'm the program director of ABC, I get rid of the hockey game because everybody wants to hear Bob Grant tonight.
What were you saying, Bob?
I want to acknowledge that some of my colleagues over there were brilliant yesterday. Sean Hannity,
sure.
And Mark Levin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they really gave it to R&R, and I was listening, and I was very proud of them.
Hey, can I tell you what I used to love that you would do on ABC? Because they used to carry the Yankee games, and a lot of times that would cut into Bob's show. And I was a Yankee fan, and he would never mention the Yankees. It would be so, like, he'd be in the middle of his show, and he'd go, well, we have to go because the Milwaukee Brewers have a baseball game tonight, which I always thought was so funny, the way you would just slap the Yankees when they would interfere with your show.
Yeah, but well, you see, you're very perceptive, because some people never knew what I was up to. They thought, oh, we now carry the Brewer game?
You always made me laugh, and it's like, how could people not see the humor in just the brutal honesty, the unapologetic honesty of the things you would say? I don't see how anybody, even whether they agreed with you or not, could not just love listening to that.
Well, you want to know something? If you tuned in and everything was agreement, I don't think you'd maintain your audience.
No, not at all.
What do you think? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, Bob Grant said something very interesting earlier. I just want to go back to it for a second. That, all we're trying to do with these radio shows is to entertain people, and we don't have a script. And every once in a while, you're going to mess up. And that's not okay anymore in this day and age. Remember the days, Bob, all you had to worry about was the FCC regulations? That's all. But now you got to worry about how powerful some of these special interest groups are, and you got to watch every single word you say, and that makes for it makes for a tough position for all of us broadcasters. You know, I mean, at this point, we're not allowed to touch Asian humor.
Well, that's true. I mean, you go back to when Don Rickles first burst on the scene.
Yep.
Everybody was just absolutely captivated by the guy. He's still one of my all-time favorites.
Absolutely.
But if he were just breaking in now, I wonder what would happen to him.
Well, do you find it disgusting that Sharpton is on the panel? That he's actually on this panel, not because Sharpton's on the panel, but because they're rescinding an award to you because of inappropriate things or things that they felt you should be scolded for. And this guy, who has just been a pig for the last 20 years in the media, is allowed to speak.
Yeah, let's look at his body of work. Why is he allowed to, talk at the convention? Let's study his body of work.
Well, here's a guy who helped perpetrate the fraud of the Tawana Brawley case, and is still walking around. As a matter of fact, bigger than ever. And the question that people are now beginning to ask is something I brought up years ago. To what office has he been elected to? Where does he get his power? Who said he's the arbiter?
White people.
Yeah. Who said that he is the court of last resort? Who the heck is he anyway?
White people said it.
I think maybe he still resents me because many years ago, over at WABC, maybe in 84, 85, somewhere around there, I had him on the program, and he was debating somebody else, and I was astounded by the jewelry and the big gold watch on his wrist. And I commented, I said, Al, how can you raise your arm with all that jewelry on it? And he didn't like that one bit.
Of course not. But you're right, because he's not been elected and because he doesn't, quote unquote, have an office, there's no accountability basically to anyone. Whereas if you work for a radio company, you work for CBS, you work for ABC, that's who you're accountable to. But I don't know who he's accountable to. Which I have no problem with him saying what he wants to say. But the fact that white people, every time he yells, white people just kind of back up with their hands raised and are apologetic and go, oh, sorry. And they react the way he wants them to react.
Right.
It is just kind of sickening, and we're just really, really irritated.
Yeah. Does Reverend Al have anything to do with what happened to you, Bob?
Well, this is
a lot of people are speculating.
Aspect of this whole thing, because it's not a level playing field. I hate to use that analogy. I don't know what else to say though, but it's not. It's a double standard situation.
Yeah.
If you get into an argument with a political figure on the basis of his politics, and he happens to be a black politician, then you're going to be accused of racism. Sooner or later, it's he's doing a racist. But if a guy's a conservative and he happens to be black, he's my guy. I'm interested in his political philosophy, not at the color of his skin. But there are some people that don't want to believe that, like Jeff.
That's brand new, though.
Doesn't, and Al Sharpton doesn't, because they've been making a nice living off of the fear that people like, well, you can name them all, members of the white race, are terrified with being called a racist by someone like that. And that it really, in the long run, is hurting everybody, but they don't get it.
Right. We got Patrice O'Neill in studio, Bob. Patrice, what
how are you, sir? I'm Almond. They call us Almond now.
Oh, really?
In the community, yeah.
Nice.
I just wanted to say though, this brand new white people are getting in trouble for being racist is brand new. It has to be less than 20 years old. So it's like all of a sudden, white people just kind of want a lot of anger to go away. And we're not having dialogue to get rid of old anger. It's just that old white guys now feel victimized and they want it all to be some colorless world all of a sudden.
Well, there's a tendency, especially in America, we do tend to go from one extreme to the other. Now, let's face it, our legacy was of slavery, Jim Crow, certainly segregation, that was very cruel to black people. Now we're going completely the other way, trying to compensate. I have nothing to compensate for. I don't know about you guys, but I was born long after slavery was eliminated, and I did not participate in anything that would keep anybody down on the basis of race. And I have no guilt whatsoever. I would have guilt if I didn't stick up for an individual who deserved my support. Notice, I said individual. And if we can ever get back to America being the land of the individual, we'll be all right. But I don't think we're going to get there.
But that,
well, go ahead, Patrice.
This is coming from a white guy. I mean, no offense. I'm just saying it's coming from a white guy. It's like the land of the individual. Jim Crow was over yesterday. Like, I was born in 1969. Martin Luther King got shot in the face by a cracker in 1968. All of a sudden in my lifetime, we have to go back to the land of equality and the land of this wonderful land. It's because it's becoming hard for white guys. Now we got to stand up. Now, I'm the one that stood up for Imus. But it wasn't because I'm a poor white man. It was the fact that I make a living talking. So it's like I stand up for that. But this thing where the land of the free and how we all need to come back to what? That's for you, not for me.
Well put. You know, I was watching a statement made by Barack Obama, the senator from Illinois. Of course, we know he's running for president. And it was a statement which I agreed with 100%. He was talking about Ronald Reagan. I think he has decided that it's very smart for a Democrat to praise Ronald Reagan. And I was thinking about the fact that I haven't heard one person say to me, gee, I don't know, I couldn't vote for him, he's black. Not one. I have heard some people say, he's too liberal for me. And that's the basis that we're supposed to base our vote on, and that is the policy, not what the guy looks like. But have you heard anybody jumping out of windows because Senator Obama is black? I haven't.
If he gets elected, we will.
They said it, I didn't.
Exactly. That's the whole thing, Norton.
That's what I wanted to say.
Can I enjoy the fact that I just made my Bob Grant laugh?
But that was his laugh was my eyeballs rolling in the back of my head because white people I've never heard a white person on radio, on TV at any point ever say the N-word before the word that caused the N-word. Yeah. Meaning, I've never run into a white guy. I've never run into a white guy that said they was mad because OJ was a black guy that killed a white woman. It's always like, I'm upset that a man killed a woman. It's like white people never admit to being racist. That's why it's like this conversation's null and void. It's like we're victims of racism, but the average white guy never admits to being racist. Ever. It has to be a frothing at the mouth cracker or nothing.
We didn't say that we didn't like OJ killing Nicole because it was a black on white thing.
No, you won't admit that the reaction was racial. White people don't admit it.
Well, because we thought that she made the mistake by being there to begin with.
Right.
Of course. Of course.
Well, using your logic, do black guys admit being racist?
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been handed this bulletin here.
Uh-oh.
Opie and Anthony want to change from being a duet to a trio. And who is the gentleman who added to the mix would make it a trio?
Patrice O'Neill there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll just go back into the corner, sir. Lord Jesus, give me that watermelon rind so I can wear it as a hat. I just was talking, sir. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt with your buddies while you're sitting here wanting the world to be the same again. Sorry about that, Mr. Bob Grant, hero to all white guys.
Hold on, just tell Bob you're going to come down to the studio later. He's not on tonight.
I don't even know what a trio is, sir. Ain't that a cookie?
It's what leaves grow on.
Yeah.
A tree.
Wait. And it's like you don't know what Bob meant by that. You might be misinterpreting Bob.
Bob,
do you not like Patrice?
Well,
exactly. Yeah, you help out.
I'm glad that you called. I'm delighted to be with you, and I do have to get going here. But
Okay.
just keep on keeping on.
All right. Any final words for R&R for taking away your Lifetime Achievement Award?
Well, I really think they should be ashamed of themselves, but I don't think that they're capable of shame. And I just wonder how they figured to give me the award in the first place if I was such a horrible creature, so undeserving. When did they first discover it?
It's just it's obviously just a disgusting example of just being cowards. And a lot of times I think white people react to racism like that because they're afraid if they don't, their own racism is going to be revealed. It's almost like the way black guys will distance themselves from a black guy who's a mugger. White people distance themselves from anything that's racially inappropriate because they're afraid it's a reflection on the way they really feel.
Mm-hmm.
So look, we're obviously fans, and we're sorry it happened to you, but it's almost good it happened because we'll just point out how disgusting R&R is for
yeah.
I ran out of steam.
Definitely, and I certainly don't hold any race responsible for this because the guy that was sending the emails is a white guy.
Yeah.
And I think the public ought to know that. You know, sometimes people assume, it must be a black person. No, it rarely is a black person. I mean, not everybody's Jesse, not everybody's Al. So, by the way, I wanted to ask you guys: are you going to the R&R convention?
No. We're rarely invited, and we've never gone to any of their functions. We just don't believe in any of that crap.
Now, before I do leave,
yeah,
I want to hear Anthony do his famous imitation.
All right, Anthony with the famous Bob Grant.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Get off my phone! Forging ahead.
Hey, you know, that's so good. It's scary because you could go around using that voice saying things and I'd get blamed.
Hey, it's the great Bob Grant. Keep going strong there, Bob.
Yeah, we love you, man.
Big fans.
Been fans for years.
All right, guys.
All right, we'll be in touch, all right?
Straight ahead.
All right,
there he goes.
Straight ahead. That was
straight ahead, right. There goes Bob Grant. Great impression, Anthony.
Thank you.
All right, the Opie and Anthony Show. Phone number is 877-212-ONA. Still to come on the show, we got Sylvester Stallone calling in at 8 o'clock to promote Rambo for about 7 minutes?
8:10. We got him for like 10
8:10?
minutes. And then at 8:30, we have Andrew Morton stopping in, who wrote the book on Tom Cruise.
All right, very good. Anthony. You all right? Oh. It's the Opie and Anthony Show. Phone number 877-212-ONA. Patrice O'Neill in studio today. And Patrice, once again, you got the phones lit. So why don't we say hi to Joe in New York? Joe, what's up, buddy?
How you doing?
All right,
Hi,
Joe.
Hey, how you doing? I just wanted to ask, why is it all right for him to say cracker and stuff like that, and we're not allowed to say the N-word?
Well, first of all, cracker doesn't have the same
social implication
and the same punch that the good old N-word has. I don't think there's a white guy alive that cares if he's called a cracker.
I mean, I don't care I'm called a cracker, but everybody's screaming about equal out, being equal and everything like that.
But I think you're picking on the wrong person. I don't think Patrice cares if you use the N-word.
Patrice encourages it.
Right, he don't care.
Yeah, no, I'm not picking
He's
on
not
him.
about the double standard.
I want a fair fight, man. I don't want white people. Now that I'm actually really allowed to be, not that I'm, put it this way. I didn't fight to be able to be how I am. Somebody else fought to be how I am. And I'm taking advantage of all the things I can say. And now white people are acting like, poor me, I can't be racist no more. So now that you can't be racist, just like what white people do, if nobody can, you taking your ball and going home. You trying to figure out a way to have me stop having fun with the language.
But that's I disagree with that only because hold on, sir. One second. White people aren't saying that you can't be white. The problem with white people is like we get tired of like things being misinterpreted as racist when they're not by other white people. Like my problem when it comes to race stuff is not what black people complain about because it's rare. Sharpton, it doesn't count as the average black person. It's other white people who like to show how non-racist they are by scolding.
But you never hear now. that view is unique. But like this guy here, he's not saying that. He'll never say that. He gets on this situation. Here's the problem with dudes like this. It's not Sharpton. It's like a Bill O'Reilly kind of guy, and your misinterpretation of what black people are saying as being white. Bill O'Reilly has you confused that you're him, that you're a white guy like him. He's the white guy that black people talk about. Bill O'Reilly's a white guy, not you, Fred, or whatever, that you're going to work, or Joe, the guy from Long Island. You're not my oppressor. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a certain, it's a ideology that includes you as the N-word. That's what I'm saying. You're the N-word too, Joe. So that's what I'm saying is stop trying to be a victim. All of a sudden, the tables are turned. We're in charge.
Let's say hi to Mel the trucker. Mel, it's the Opie and Anthony show. What's up, Mel?
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, Mel.
Patrice is right. You know what? A lot of people just need to just relax. I don't care about people using the N-word. It's some people that are just stuck on certain, I don't know what it is, ideologies or what. If people would just be upfront with each other and say, look, I'm racist, this is why I don't like you, maybe we can have a little bit more respect for people and we can all get along a little bit better in this
Why
world.
can't I be racist? That's what I'm saying. I don't
care if you're racist.
But why can't, see, the thing is we're dealing with a new thing which is covert racism now. It's rare that no one's sick and dogs. I know that the cops do what they do, but for the most part, I don't need white people to have to like me. You can be racist if you want to. I don't understand why I gotta like you.
Do you care if white guys are racist in general?
It doesn't bother me, but
it doesn't bother me if a black guy's racist. Doesn't bother me if a white guy's racist.
But I think there's a lot. If you notice what's going on, it's a lot of old black folks and a lot of old white folks that are fighting,
still battling,
still upset about busing. I just think it's old people fighting.
They'll be in the old age home together with their walkers with the tennis balls on the bottom, and they'll still be going at it, man.
Going after Imus, and then like that Imus thing. You know what that was at the end of the day? It was like, okay, it's like white people, old white man goes, all right, listen now, we're going to trade you, boy, we're going to give you Seinfeld's buddy that slide through the door, and we're going to give you the old man Imus, okay, we're going to give you him, and what you do is you give us that damn hip-hop. We want hip-hop. We want to just mess it up. We don't like these young Negroes. So you trade that, and all black people hate hip-hop. So they go, sure, we're going to give you give us the two white guys and put 3 black people on MSNBC, CNN, and Fox, and then you get to tear hip-hop apart. And you get to destroy the N-word. Also, you can wipe it out. And that's the deal they making. To old people making deals for nothing.
May I say one more thing?
Sure, man.
I am 39 years old. I'm black. I'm a truck driver. I was born in Mississippi, raised in California. I hear this mess all day on the CB. It's to the point to where it doesn't too much bother me that the people out here using the N-word, but don't hide behind it. Come to my face and say it and explain to me why you feel the way you feel, and I will respect you a whole lot more.
Mel, you lost me when you said you were a black truck driver. That's like being black and in the NHL. Oh my God. Are you insane?
Yes.
How many black guys are in the trucking industry?
That's like black skydiver.
Right. I know. You gotta be insane to be a black truck driver. And you drive down south and all that?
You know what? I like the insane money that I make.
I understand.
I work hard, and I'm doing an honest job. I used to be an old drug dealer. Back in my younger days, I grew up in South Central, so I know what it's like to live on the street. And I just turned my life around, and this is an honest career that I'm in now. But a lot of people still don't respect just the skin color that you have, which is the dumbest thing. You know what? If you don't like me, sit me down. Let's have a cup of coffee. Let's talk about.
You ever kill a white hooker?
And go from there.
Yeah. Are you all about the white hookers?
They'll never find you. You won't be profiled.
What are they called? The lot? What are they called?
Lot lizards.
Lot lizards.
They call the lot lizard. And yes, I love the white hose. Yes.
You like the white hose? Is it a guarantee you're going to be voting for Obama, Mel?
Nah, you know what? I'm not voting for none of those clowns because all of them are stupid.
Yeah.
We do need a change in this country. Obama's not going to do it. Mr. Clinton's not going to do it. The whole system's jacked up. I don't like what I see. And these clowns that are voting for Obama because he's black, they're stupid. These females that are voting for Hillary because she's a woman.
Yep.
They're stupid. So you know what? People need to just wake up and look inside themselves before they make these decisions instead of just going with the status quo.
Well, we just started a new bit. We're just asking people on the street who they're voting for and why, and their answers are unbelievable. No one knows the issues at hand. No one knows what these candidates actually stand for. And when I say no one, I'm talking about probably a majority of people out there. I'm sure there's a bunch that do, and they study this stuff. But in general, there's a lot of people that are going to vote for Barack or not vote for Barack because he's black. And the same thing with Hillary and the woman thing. And that's what it comes down to, not what she might do or attempt to do when she's in office.
Yes, that is true. But like I said, there's a bunch of clowns and idiots out here in this world, and they're just let alone by their nose and what they see and hear on television, excuse me, radio also.
Right.
Jimmy, I love you. Jimmy.
Thank you very much.
I love all you guys. I'm a full-time listener, and I got to get off this radio.
All right.
Because I'm coming up on these scales, and the police are right behind me.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
God, you must get really scared when you see the police.
It all balls down. We get all civil rightsy till we see a cop.
Right. Oh, damn.
Oh, man.
Oh, they got to weigh my truck
I have
again.
a dream. Oh, damn, cop. Shut up. And let me tell you something about these crackers. Charlie's behind me.
Damn.
Stick your black fist out the window and say, wait it, sucker.
Yeah, just take off and and do a little Tyrone and the Bandit.
Just get on top of your semi and do the George Jefferson dance on top.
Right. Hey, this is the perfect time to play this story that we were going to get to, but then Bob Grant called. Someone got fined for using the N-word.
Of course. Go ahead.
Well, fined from what?
And I guarantee it was a black guy.
I don't know. Let's go to it.
This Passaic, New Jersey public works employee decided to go to court when a man used racial slurs against him.
The N-word is...
Hold on. By the way, Nate in Georgia, Opie, you got to be S and me. I work in a warehouse in Georgia, and 75% of truck drivers are black. In that area, I guess.
Maybe, yeah.
You're out of touch, you silly goose.
Watch the language, sir. This is radio.
Look, when you think truck driver... Are you thinking black?
No, and
no.
I just reject that
75%.
There's only 25% white guys make with these jobs that you make a lot of money being a trucker, and you got to drive cross country. You think they're letting 75% of Negroes just drive around this country in in your hooker killing machine?
I'm sure they would let them, but.
Come stop it.
I don't think anybody would stop black guys.
75%. Stop.
I just don't think that's realistic. Trucking is responsible for 3/4 of the businesses in this country would shut down if trucks didn't operate. Like if they just stop. So I just think that there's not enough black people to do that job. So they do a few.
Really? What? The 20 million and probably 10 who have licenses? What are you talking about?
I'm saying listen.
I'm listening.
There's over 100 million white people.
There's more than that.
That's why I said over.
Yeah, that was very good, Noy. That was very, very good. Go ahead, man. That was quick as hell. I got to give him that one. I wanted to ignore that one. That was good. Go ahead.
I just think that the odds are there's going to be more white truckers. I'm only saying just because there's more white people. I don't think that with less of a population you'd have a 75%. It just doesn't make sense statistically, numerically. That's all.
Okay, let's get to this story because it's pretty interesting.
This Passaic, New Jersey public works employee decided to go to court when a man used racial slurs against him.
The N-word it's not a word, it's the word that comes, the negative effect of it.
He had his work truck parked on a city street when the verbal barrage struck.
He got angry and you calling me a million names, and finally he called me the N-word.
The man who made the comments ended up paying a $150 fine.
At least fine, so they learn that this is everybody's city. It's everybody's country.
This man agreed with the punishment.
I even went to jail behind that, honestly, for a Caucasian calling me that. Me acting out on it got me 4 years in prison.
The city worker is just glad he got his day in court.
The gentleman, he apologized, and apology accepted, move on.
It should have just been an apology. Going to court. And what I would like to know, what they're doing is they're dolling this story up, for lack of another old lady way of speaking, but they're adding to this. He was probably caught on some kind of a public nuisance thing, or there's probably something where if you're screaming at a person or whatever, it was probably in the context of that, and that was probably the example they cited. Like, that doesn't make sense. He just dropped an N-bomb and got fined.
Right.
In court. It just doesn't make sense.
But that would be on the road where I think it's trying to lead to.
Absolutely.
Which is to ban the word from anybody, like, because if you ban that word, if you could go to jail or get fined saying that word, white people don't say that word. Unless they're home.
Oh, we say
it. Not to get fined.
No.
Like, I say it to get fined. What's up?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I get fined by that. So it's like, who's that hurting? It's not white people don't even say it.
By the way, Kevin from Connecticut backing up a little bit. Smokey and the defendant.
That's funny. That's funny.
I was trying to start a bit, and Kevin, went with it. So thank you to Kevin.
Hey,
I went with Tyrone and the Bandit. He's going.
Tyrone and the Bandit.
He's going
better.
with Smokey and the defendant.
Tyrone and the Bandit is better.
All right. Well, I was attempting a bit, and Kevin acknowledged it at least. Let's say hi to Vinny in Brooklyn. Vinny.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey,
Hi, Vinny.
Love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Welcome aboard.
What's up?
Straight ahead.
Okay. Listen. I don't understand something. How come it's okay for people on the street to say, I'm voting for Obama because he's black, but if a white guy says, hey, guys, I'm not voting for Obama because he's black, he gets in trouble?
I don't know people on the street are running around yelling, I'm voting for him because he's black.
That's like, wait a minute, no. That's like saying I'm running from the police because I'm black, and the police saying, I'm not chasing you because you're...
Patrice, I love you, man. Patrice, you're awesome.
Yeah, Patrice, explain that, though. Like, a black guy can say, I want to vote for Obama because he's black, but if a white guy does say it, quickly you go, he's a racist.
Exactly.
But that,
I just want to understand that, because the guy kind of
one
makes
is
a good point.
racial and one is racist.
No,
not necessarily. No. That's no, because if you're voting for someone just because they're black, that's how you're dolling it up. But it could just be because you don't like the other guys because they're white. I mean, it depends. You know what I'm saying? There's no difference.
But it has to be the fact being, though. That's I keep saying this. If white people can be honest for 5 seconds about racism or race, these arguments or these conversations wouldn't happen, because black people are free enough to go mentally, hey, I'm going to vote for him because he's black. Yep. But you got to understand, historically, white person will vote for, it's been nothing but white males as the leader of this country forever, since this country has had presidents. You don't think that's racial? So you're saying there wasn't another better candidate somewhere? There was some black people that ran. There's some white women that ran at one point, or black woman that ran. You're making this racial. The whole world, all of a sudden, we have to sit here and have examples of black people being racist? Like, how come you can say that? You've been able to say nigga freely till yesterday.
Well, that's white people are being frustrated, and they're asking black people the question. But the real problem, again, is the scolding from other white people. That's the real problem. And again, guys like Sharpton, Jesse, they're just opportunists who they hear.
Well, white guilt is your problem. That's why,
absolutely.
But that's why I think black people.
Yeah, you guys taught me about this white guilt thing. I had no clue about this until I started hanging out with you.
Black people, Opie, should stay out of this language game, because for the most part, one of our biggest allies is white guilt. White people going, that's why Michael Jackson's not in jail. White guilt. That's why, it's a lot of things that happen because of white guilt. And let's not be, and not to be an apologist or something, but all the struggle that we had in this country, there's always been white people. There's always been a section of white people who are like, this is just wrong on a human level, and helped abolitionists and Jews in the 20s. And a lot of white people died during civil rights, man. A lot of white people help. It's not like we're like, oh, white people. It's just it's to have a discussion about it, man. Is you need two people admitting something. You can't have a racial discussion when white people say nonsense like, how come you can say that and we can't? Because it's a double standard. You hung us, you beat us, you beat us with dogs, you hose us down, and beat us with dogs, but whatever, you know what I'm saying? And
people are really angry.
You've done all of this stuff, and we can't say what we want for 5 minutes? You're not giving us no money like you gave the Japanese.
But
let us have language for something.
You're right. The only problem I have with that is when I'm being scolded by those same guilt-ridden white people who are scolding me because what I'm saying to be funny or for whatever reason is a reflection on the way they really feel. That's my only problem. Black people should say whatever they want.
But now we're losing that because we're being unreasonable, where now we're chasing a white guy every time he makes a racial slip or we're attacked, lose his job. Now white guilt is becoming something that's not our ally, where white people they're coming together to now fight against black people with this language thing and this new white people are a victim thing. It's not like it was before when we were actually victims and people felt like we were victims. Now people are starting to feel like we're not, and they're trying to make me think that this is equal in this country. I'm equal now? Okay, I'm equal. I'll go with the okie doke. The banana in the tailpipe. I ain't falling for it. That's why I say black people just stop. Let white people say goofy stuff so we can fight what's going on. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Because now it's covert. It's underneath. If there's no way to prove you're a racist now. Before there was a way. You go, wait a minute. The dude just beat me in the head because I'm black. But now it's hard to prove that you're racist.
No, it's because anything racial is perceived as being racist. Like when you look at, again, the media is a bunch of guilt-ridden white people. When you look at the way like Fat Nick, the guy from Brooklyn who hit the black guy with a bat, everybody knows they were thugs to steal a thing, and him and his dumb friends were thugs. That's all that was. And he was on the front page of the paper for months because he was a white person. The other white people could point out, go, see, he's the problem. It's not us, it's him.
Right.
That's all that is. I mean, it's, I lost my point.
All right, right on. Let's go to Anthony in Syracuse. Anthony.
Yes.
What's up, Anthony?
How you doing, guys?
Hey.
I just wanted to say, you guys rock. Jimmy, you're the funniest cat around.
Oh, thanks, sir.
Patrice, you rock also. I just disagree with a couple of your, your beliefs and whatnot.
Okay.
And I don't believe that white people are not afraid to be racist and stuff like that.
That's true. The white people white people in a lot of places aren't afraid to be racist. The white people that we deal with in New York or Los Angeles in our business are horrendous.
Yeah, we live in kind of a different area.
You'd be surprised when you
compared to
travel.
the rest of the country.
Fair enough. Yeah.
They embrace it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Manhattan was built on getting everyone together and trying to figure out how to get everyone to get along. So,
right.
Hey, by the way, for Obama to win the presidency, he's gonna need the white vote.
Oh, of course.
That's the whole point.
Right. And people don't understand that point. If we end up having the first black president, there's going to be a lot of white people that voted for Barack Obama, and no one understands that.
Every white person.
And the more I read about Barack Obama, there's a movement going on with young white voters that want to vote for Barack Obama.
That's why
I think it's hilarious when people get scared about the potential that we're going to have a black president. Whitey has to come out and vote for Barack Obama in the end.
And that's why
every single black person votes for Barack Obama. It doesn't get the job done.
That's why he has to be even. That's why he cannot ever say, he can't even say the word dark skin.
Because
Jimmy was support black.
That's why you can't look at the stats. Because Jimmy was pointing out, there's a hell of a lot more white people in this country than black people.
250 million white people. He has to get white votes. And if for 1 second they think he's going to be the black president instead of the light skin, dark skin president who's not really for black people, he has to convince white people that he's just a regular guy.
That's why he's using U2 music. Right. Song.
Yeah.
He has to.
Yeah.
He has to. Black people are going to vote for him anyway.
Yes. That's why I always thought a black Republican had a better shot, by the way. Because he would get a lot of a black Republican, I think, would have a big crossover from white people that want to see it and from black people that are typically Democrat.
What planet are they going to get that candidate from?
I don't know, Alan Keyes. There's just conservative black guys.
Well, Colin Powell, we thought.
True, but I mean, it's not like there's a lot of them, though.
He's not going to be the president, dude. I was doing a man on the street thing where I was just asking people to put in order who they thought the most important to the least important between black men, white women, black women. White men are just number one across the board, and it would be white women, then black women, then black men would always be last in terms of who you think is the most important entity out of those 4 in this country.
Black women, though, ahead of
black women were ahead of black
Oprah,
men.
maybe why? Oprah, maybe, and Tyra.
Just because it's a fear level, man. It's still there. It's such a fear level. Visceral fear level of black men, dude. Yeah, black women sleeping with your wives and your women, and the running, the jumping, the fear of what black men will do if we get into some white power position that we're gonna now cook you.
That's true. It is ridiculous to have that fear. And if you look at South Africa, you'll see things are going well.
Do you want a black president? Do you want Barack?
To be honest with me, yeah, for symbolism, just to be alive to see something like that, yeah.
Thank you. I said it the other day, and my logic is ridiculous. Most listeners know that. I want a black president because I want interesting stuff to happen during my lifetime.
Yeah.
I want to be alive to see a black president and to see what that actually means in the end.
Yeah, I mean, symbolism, yeah. I
want to see another
changing things. I don't know, but symbolism, yeah.
I want to see another tsunami during my lifetime. I want to see the craziest earthquake of all time happen during my lifetime.
The meteor?
Yeah, I want to be alive for the meteor, yes.
I like the way you lump a black president in with tsunami and an earthquake.
With natural disasters.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Oh, man, Jimmy, I was getting away with one.
Oh, man. Yeah. There's a watchdog group that was listening to that just now if you didn't do that.
You see what he's saying? Obama's a natural disaster waiting to happen.
I want to see 2 things happen in my life.
I hate you,
black
Jimmy.
President and Cloverfield really happening. And it's the same to me. Negro running through the city kicking stuff.
I want 2 things: a black president and the bubonic plague coming back.
You did say a bunch of.
Hey, it went right over your head.
Not the dodo bird to become unextinct.
I want rats to take over Manhattan.
Boy, I wish the tuna population would just reestablish itself.
Jimmy doesn't miss a beat, man. I had a great point going.
It was just very funny.
Maybe I should have, come up with some better examples. But I think
Black president and the end of the world. Not even the flying Jetsons car was in there.
Yeah. Something positive, exactly. The Jetson car.
Cure for AIDS and a black president.
Right. AIDS, whatever. But the flying car, wonderful. Wonderful for everybody. And to figure out that rocket pack thing.
So that Negro can fly to outer space and never come back.
No, so white people can get out. We're nervous.
A big long line full of rocket packs. Free rocket packs for white people everywhere.
Damn, I was on to something, too.
Oh, man.
Black president and lots of natural disasters. Yes, that's what you got from my little rant.
Of course. Subliminal.
Let my people go.
All right. We'll take a break and hopefully talk to Sylvester Stallone after the break, right? About Rambo and other things?
Yes.
All right. Opie and Anthony. I said Opie and Anthony. Opie and Anthony. What happened, E-Rock?
So what happened?
What crashed? CBS crashed? Oh, so what do we do now?
What do we do?
Oh, Jimmy, your mic's not even on.
Oh, no.
What do we do? We have to actually, improvise and stuff?
The network crashed, so they're trying to figure out how to go to break.
Oh, that's wonderful. See what you did, Patrice? I blame you.
That's right.
I blame you.
Wow.
I want a black president and all radio to not work.
That is a sign.
That is a sign.
I'm scared now.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do want to see Los Angeles detached from the United States. Like Bill Hicks suggested back in the day. Thank you to whoever wrote that. Bill from Waterford. Perfect, yes.
Is this an XM problem or a CBS problem?
CBS.
What happened? What's CBS doing?
The computer died that's supposed to go to the affiliates and all the breaks.
Well, then what happens?
All this black talk.
And yes, I did say ebonic plague. I meant to say the bubonic plague, yes, but I was very excited.
The ebonic plague.
I was very excited about my little
but
theory.
that was actually more accurate.
The ebonic plague.
See, you need me to mess up to set these idiots up.
E-Rock is whispering and panicking. He's just a nervous little man. He's talking into a headset.
E-Rock finally has to do something. He doesn't know what to do.
No, he's spinning out of control. He's spiraling like a dope.
All that sweat coming off his teeny little nose.
Oh, it's awful.
This is turning into a very, very, very weird day.
He does have a
strange day.
Blondie's husband from the cartoon nose. I'd like to just rearrange it with my fist.
He just bugs me. He's just fat and skinny everywhere.
Fat and skinny.
Just cheeks is fat.
Yeah.
Eyelids are skinny.
What happened?
Just a mess.
Hey, E-Rock, how about you give us some info?
Exactly. Instead of just sitting there talking.
They're almost back up.
How do they know that? What are they doing? Are they rebooting?
They're rebuilding the log right now.
How do you rebuild a log?
Well, you eat a lot of bread.
I was going to say you hold your girl tightly. Rebuild it. I can't believe that.
I didn't get it.
I was sure I was going to get something.
Damn it. I love how honest Patrice is. I don't like blacks in general. It doesn't mean I'm racist. And it's coming from Boston. And, well,
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How many times do you have to have a bad experience with one race, one ethnic group, before you're allowed to not like them?
I say you could just hear about it from a friend once.
Wow.
If you just go, I don't like them. I can't say them, but I have a list of who I don't like.
I think it's just human nature. You know. You don't like people that aren't like you.
Because it's like...
Whether it's black, white, or because you think differently, all that crap.
Wait,
we can break now? Do you want to answer that, Jimmy, real fast? I want to talk to the Boston guy. This is classic. Maybe after the break. Stay there, Tim. But
oh, no, I wasn't even... how many examples? I was just kidding. I mean, I don't know. I mean, tough question. I don't know. How many did it take me? I have no idea. I think my first gig with Patrice cemented it. What a prick you were.
I
killed.
By the way, the answer is we don't know.
That's right.
Well, no, I was talking about something else.
Sweetie.
Sylvester Stallone next. Oh, my God, you're kidding, right? You said they were ready to go. Now what?
I think E-Rock's getting bad information.
E-Rock?
Oh, great.
What now?
What happened?
What happened?
The files are playing. CBS can't get the audio running. So
really?
We can't go to break.
See what you did, Patrice? We can't go to break. Getting stranger and stranger.
Well, the files are playing. Why don't you just tell...
that black voodoo.
Yeah, well, let's say hi to Tim in Boston listening on BCN. Tim, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Are we on in New York?
We're on in New York. We're finding out the rest.
All right. Look at E-Rock panicking.
I know. This idea of exercising, you're just walking quickly.
And now Tim's panicking. What, Tim? That is why?
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, the button wasn't down.
What button? Opie, were you supposed to push a button?
I wasn't supposed to push a button. Are we ready to go then? Let's try it. Well, where's E-Rock?
Now where's
E-Rock, get
E-Rock?
back here.
Get in here.
All right,
Stop
Tim, hold on the line.
All right.
We're going to get this show back on track.
Eric is going to try.
All right, now what, E-Rock? Can we go to break?
Yeah, you can go to break.
All right, know what happened? This is gonna pain me.
What?
This is gonna pain me.
Look at his face.
What? For the first time in over 20 years of broadcasting, I made a.
What?
Ike.
Write it down. For the first time ever, I made a mistake.
Oh, what'd you do?
I got so excited talking about my natural disasters and the black president. I'm just playing like a keyboard over here, and I'm just turning buttons on, turning them off, and I turned off a very crucial button to the whole broadcast.
You didn't press
this stupid button
button.
This stupid button right here. You turn it off, all hell breaks loose.
All right, so we can break now before Stallone?
He's calling right now. All right, well, what?
He's calling at 8 takes, not calling right
now. All right.
Okay, let's just break and come back real quick.
It was my fault. I have to take the blame. It's Opie and Anthony. Sylvester Stallone next. All right, we're all over the place today. I got to give a secret message to the affiliates. We're coming back early, so we'll give you a few seconds here to try to join the program, because we have Sly Stallone on the phone line, and he's a busy man. He can't wait for our crap to be figured out. Is that good enough, Tom?
Yes, just give them
up.
10 seconds to come back or whatever.
All right. Tom said give them a couple seconds. Hopefully they'll rejoin the program. If not, what can I tell you?
Why wouldn't they? If we got Stallone on the phone, what are they going to do? Play another boring commercial?
Right.
We'll pad the next one.
Yeah, we'll figure it out down the road, but we're back live with the Opie and Anthony Show. And on the phone, we got Sylvester Stallone. Mr. Stallone.
Hi.
How are you, sir?
Very good, thanks.
I don't feel good calling you Sly or Sylvester.
Why not? No. Live on the edge.
I call him Double S.
Double S.
That's what I call
like
him, baby.
Sharon Stone.
hero to both blacks and whites. One of the few. Schwarzenegger, one. Sly, the other, and it might be one more. Bruce Lee. Hero to all. Lock Up and Rocky 3, my two favorite movies.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, you call from Los Angeles or you in New York?
I just got to New York last night.
Oh, okay, so at least you're not at 5 o'clock in the morning time.
No.
Yeah, you know what? There is something to that. You're right.
I'm actually looking at your bio, and it's amazing to me that, like, 16 years after the last Rocky, you did Rocky Balboa. Was that your choice, or did the studio want you to do it? Like, why did you decide to redo it after such a long layoff?
Well, truthfully, the studio was completely opposed to it. That's why it even took. I would have done it 10 years later, but times change, the paradigm changes, the administration changes, and the whole outlook of the business changes, and it became much more what we call a tentpole industry, where you'd make very, very large commercial films, a la Spider-Man, and the smaller kind of films. And Rocky was kind of like an independent film that caught on. And the fact that I wanted to play it at my age didn't exactly send off rockets in their heads.
You know what, though? I didn't know if I was going to like it or not, and I watched it, and I thought you did a really great job with it. I love the direction it went into. It was like a really, it was a believable storyline. I mean, it wasn't a guy coming back and just knocking out all these young contenders. It was great.
Exactly. I thought if you made it an exhibition fight, it would be plausible. But more importantly was, can you hook on to his dilemma? And if you can, then you have a story.
What was his dilemma?
Well, you've lost everything in your life, things that really, really matter. How do you go on to the second half of your life knowing that you've lost the things that have been most precious to your love, your wife, your child? Can you find some kind of enthusiasm that sparks an interest to keep moving forward?
Wow.
Now, 20 years later, you're releasing the Rambo, which is just called John Rambo, or is it just called...
Well, it was going to be called John Rambo, and then we wanted to be clever and go like, why not to Hell and Back or Up Blood River, and then it started sounding like a serial film. Then John Feldhammer runs Lionsgate, says, why don't we just do something I just call it Rambo, and even though we've had a movie called Rambo, I think there's been enough time in between to... You can't mistake that.
Now, what's going on with the, you remember the Andre the Giant stickers they used to have around?
No.
Remember those Andre the Giant faces? It's just a drawn face of Andre the Giant.
Oh, yeah.
You got like that thing going on in the streets. Like,
you got the Rambo.
It's just that drawn.
Yeah, it's his face just stamped on everything.
Yeah, just kind of
as Rambo.
What is that about? Is that
guys, that to me is that came from Lionsgate, a man named Tim Palin, and I think it's actually genius. I never would have expected it. They'd taken a regular photo and sort of reduced it to like street art, and it's so I don't know, obvious from a long distance away. And then I said, why is this catching on subconsciously? It looks like the Che Guevara.
Right.
And which is still burnt into people's brains.
Well, Andre the Giant stickers.
All right.
I don't remember the Andre the Giant stickers.
It's just around. You know what I mean?
All right.
I'm waiting for Cliffhanger, the 20th anniversary one.
Oh, man.
You're waiting a long This time he gets a job as a window washer.
Yeah. Sly, that Cliffhanger was a great movie, man.
One of the best opening scenes ever shot was you hanging off that rope, holding her hand and looking down.
Wait a minute, was he disgusted with Cliffhanger?
No, it's just probably like, who wants to hang it? And
no. I mean, Sylvester Stallone. Like, were you? Is that one of your favorites, or is that one of your least favorites?
One of my favorites. Yeah. No, I'm saying the idea of going through those heights and the hardship, and I mean, I'm not a height person,
right.
And after a while, you just can't take it anymore. You're going to work 12,000 feet in the air every day.
So you were doing like a lot of rock climbing and stuff yourself, right?
Well, to a point, yeah, because you have to, but something happens when you're doing films like that, and a lot of mountain climbers said it to be true. After about a month, you go up there, you're terrified. Then after about a month, you find yourself going closer and closer to the edge, turning your back, eating your lunch, hanging over the side, and it just pushes a man's ego to see how far you can go before you fall to your death.
All right, sir, now here it is now. Don't take offense. I just need to know.
All right.
What is the backstory of Viagra Rambo.
What is that?
The old man Rambo, the 20-year later Rambo. Not you, but the dude who's like 20 years from the last dude who fought the Russians.
Exactly. Well, he goes back to Thailand. He lives on the border of Burma, and I've seen, I perceive this guy as kind of moving back into the jungle, almost becoming animalistic because he doesn't communicate with humanity anymore. He's lost his faith in God. He's lost his faith in humanity. But he's very, very strong, very brutal, very powerful. And he's a riverman. He's a boatman. And these people have to get into Burma, these missionaries, because they do this truthfully every year. And the only way to get in there is upriver because all the mines, all the trails have been mined. And that begins the adventure where Rambo now starts to feel a rekindled connection with humanity. But I think I was in the best shape I've been in a long time for that. But I wanted to be not a bodybuilder look, but more of a working class, hard man, like a lumberjack.
You mean more like the original Rocky, where you were big and strong, but not necessarily cut.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And we accomplished that, so the audience would say, "Oh, okay, this is believable." But it's not vain and it's not self-conscious of trying to look vascular and all that sort of stuff.
And you're 60 years old, right?
61.
Wow. 61. Amazing.
Holy
Don't
amazing.
keep me out of that one.
Did you ever?
All right.
And that's why I call it Viagra Rambo. I mean, it's just like, I'm not, jeez, I'm just joking.
It's amazing.
Now, okay, we was just talking about like all this, the stuff we was just talking about, the racial stuff or whatever. Now, remember not in Rocky V, Rambo First Blood 2 or and the pretty girl that was like Wambo, and the
Asian girl.
Ridiculous are they gonna be having that kind of stuff now? Or are the people in the movie like, we're Vietnamese and there's none of that.
No,
Wambo.
We just had to be as truthful as we can, and
Good.
So we actually hired. Because the worst situation in the world right now, the longest running civil war and the bloodiest, is in Burma. It's been going on for 60 years. So the hardest thing was to get Burmese refugees to play themselves because they're still terrified because the Burmese secret police are always coming over the border trying to pull them back. So we didn't get into casting for just, a shock effect. We stayed pretty much with the real people over there. So it's mostly Burmese and myself and this group of Christian missionaries from, let's say, Colorado.
I'm going to guess one of your favorite things, one of my favorite things that you ever did, and I think it took a lot of people off guard, was when you did Copland. The type of a role you played there, which was kind of like the guy who doesn't necessarily win.
Exactly.
Is that something that you would do more of? Because it was really great to see people like if you forget, like, oh yeah, this guy's like not just doing action movies, but he's a real actor, and he's people kind of, I think, lose sight of that sometimes with the action stuff.
It falls under the category careful what you wish for. I love doing ensemble work. There's nothing to me that's more pleasurable. So when I did that, I thought it would open up different avenues, and because everyone always says, oh, the most important thing for an artist to do is stretch. So I stretched my waistline, I stretched everything, but actually it hurt me.
Did it really?
Yeah, it did. It really did. And so people said, oh, he's not into action films anymore. He's doing character work, but the audience doesn't perceive him as that. So all these mixed messages were sent. And truthfully, guys, that was the beginning of the end for about 8 years.
That's too bad, because you were great in that movie.
Yeah, it's like...
I know. It broke my heart, too.
But your boy, that's what his M.O. was. He gets famous for that. Robert De Niro, he got famous for just losing weight and getting fat and his whole thing.
The difference is, guys, is that if you're connected to a character, especially first, right out of the box like Rocky, so tightly connected to it, where Bobby never had that. He was more versatile, and he would do a variety of parts, but not be connected to one. That pretty much follows you around. But when you're stuck with that, which is a blessing in one way and another, you're not going to get rid of it. Even if, to this day, if you say James Bond, you still think Sean Connery.
Right. So you're thinking like an example with De Niro is the amazing transition from Raging Bull, and then the next film is The King of Comedy.
Right.
Whereas you kind of...
I couldn't pull that off.
But do you like as a performer, because you are Stallone? I mean, you pretty much obviously will turn down scripts all day until you find something you like. I mean, no one is going to tell you what you have to do. Do you kind of find that like I want to have the commercial success more, or is something like that you'd be satisfied with like that, like a Copland, more important to you?
Well, therein lies a big dilemma. You'd like to do the artistic pieces, but then again, you do want to also reach as many, I think, of the public as possible. So I would opt more now for doing populist films, say like a Rambo, things that will go out there and have the widest audience. Because I've had my opportunity with Copland, and actually the first Rocky was not an action film at all. Nope. It was an ensemble piece. So at this point, I don't want to experiment anymore. If something really that touches, like for example, Edgar Allan Poe is one I want to direct. I can't be in it because I'm too young, and I don't think people hearing Yo Poe would work today. Sorry.
Was there ever a point where you really tried to go to some class or something to not be you? Was there ever an attempt for you to just try your best to not be Yo Rocky?
Yeah, I in college, you'd almost see the die cast. I would go up like many other actors, but I was always cast in a certain role. There's a perception of body type, the sound of your voice. So I was always the villain, the mugger, the fella from the dark side, the friend that your parents don't want you around, and that just blossomed out. And so when I came to New York, the first couple of roles I ever got, I was like, let's go mug Woody Allen, then you mug Jack Lemmon, then you're the thug here. I'm going,
with the Lords of Flatbush?
Lords of Flatbush. So I thought, why don't I write a part about a guy who's a thug, but underneath the leather, underneath the hat, there beats a different kind of heart, and that's the beginning of Rocky.
He wasn't that in Tango and Cash, though.
But you know what? I played the wrong role.
Man, Tango and Cash, that was it.
I should have played the Kurt Russell role. Let him wear the glasses.
And I apologize. I'm sorry. I really enjoy what people would call your other movies. Like Rocky, to me, we argue all the time. We argued here before. Rocky 3, I'm a black dude, by the way, is my favorite Rocky. And we argue that, but I think Rocky 1 is everybody's mostly favorite. But yeah. I love Lock Up, Tango and Cash, Rocky 3. I like the other one, Nighthawks.
Nighthawks, sure.
Yeah, but I do the Rocky. My favorite is 1, the last one, and 3.
Do you know what I love about Rocky? When you watch the original Rocky, because obviously it was a lower budget than the other ones. When you pan into the audience little times, you'll actually see at times empty seats during the championship fight. Just the nature of doing like a film before you're so known, and then you see part 2 and you watch those scenes, and there's not an empty seat in the house.
I know, it's so true. We would have people brought in, and we couldn't get any volunteers, and they were going to people, I guess homeless. You would get local people on the street, anyone you can get, and they would only stay as long as the free lunches and the chicken boxes. Once that ran out by noon,
they're out of there.
Playing to a house full of crickets.
Yeah.
What's that?
I just wanted to know if he still talked to Carl Weathers and.
Oh yeah. Do you still? I mean, it's a kind of a corny question, but it's we become kind of invested in these characters after all these years, and you associate Rocky with Apollo Creed. I mean,
you assume they hang out every holiday,
No, not really. I see Carl now and then, and he's walking down the street in Santa Monica. Hey, how you doing? But it's strange. A lot of actors don't maintain any kind of relationship. We all sit there and exchange phone numbers and say, you know what, we're going to be buddies forever. Let's call it. Have the kids grow up together. And then by the time you get home, amnesia.
Yeah, I guess so. You move on to the next project, and they move on to the next project.
Yeah.
And is there anything you regret doing? Like, I mean, you've had a tremendous career. Is there anything that you look back and you're like, maybe I don't wish I didn't do that, but I kind of wish I did that.
And a turn down role. Ask about that.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
anything you turned down?
Yeah, sure. I was going to do Coming Home, Witness, Romancing the Stone. I mean, there's many of those, and I'd end up, and truthfully, you sometimes are very, very open to suggestion, and I think people have to listen to their inner instincts in their heart. Half the films I've done today, I would look at today if they were presented and say, obviously this is a cruel joke, guys. You can't be serious.
All right, they're telling us he's got to go. He's got a very busy schedule today.
Well, the movie is obviously where's my stupid one sheet?
Rambo.
It is Rambo. It's in theaters next Friday, which is January the 25th.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. I think it's the best action film I've ever done.
Will you be alive by the end of the film?
Actually, that's the next movie as we try to bring Rambo back from the
Bring back from the dead. SylvesterStallone.com. And, it was really a thrill talking to you. We're really happy that you were able to call in.
Appreciate it.
And your continued success. Good luck with the film.
Yeah, same to you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Same to us,
cool guy.
our film.
It was cool, though. It's amazing. Like, I was
He was great.
Like, you expect a big star like that to not be conversational. It's like, oh, yeah, he's Stallone. He's comfortable.
Very cool. Very cool.
He gets carpal tunnel syndrome pulling back that arrow in this one. That was a good one. Thank you, fan.
We just talked to Rocky. That's
great.
That's pretty damn impressive, man.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a quick break to the affiliates because we're a mess right now. I screwed up so bad that we got to try to figure this out. So we're going to do a very short break, come back, and then we're going to talk for 5 minutes, and then we're going to do another break, and then we're going to get Andrew Morton in studio to talk about his Tom Cruise biography. Right? All right. Wow. If we pull this off, we're going to be what? Employed.
Yeah.
Employed. It's Opie and Anthony. Let's get right back into it. We got Andrew Morton in studio. This guy knows how to write a biography, and his latest one is on Tom Cruise.
The best-selling author, and he just told me, we had a great chat off. It's disgraceful that this book is not being published in certain places, which I just find disgusting.
It's not being published in Britain, New Zealand, and Australia. Although the Australians are now, because of the furore around the world, various wholesalers are saying we're going to start selling it. We're going to stand up to the legal threats and intimidation from Tom Cruise and Scientology.
And you're not scared of the lawsuits that they're talking about?
Look, as you say, I'm a well-known biographer. I spent 2 years researching this book. I knew what I was up against, and the people who I've spoken to, they've either signed off on it, and I'm prepared to stand by the story. I mean, and the whole thing's been very carefully vetted.
Mm-hmm.
How hard was it? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, now, Jimmy.
How hard was it to get people to talk to you, especially people in the know about Scientology and the reputation they have, whether it's justified or not?
Well, I mean, it's very interesting. A lot of them were quite nervous, but it's useful being known. I mean, I'm known for books I've done on Princess Diana, on Madonna, on Monica Lewinsky, and so on. So when I ring up, I'm not some kind of stooge for Scientology. I'm not some private eye. I'm not somebody trying to do them over. They know they can look me up on the Google and so on. So it's been very useful to have that.
Yeah, you got a reputation behind you. Sure.
What is something you found out that you were very surprised at that you think people will become a little bit more? Because I think people are becoming very disillusioned with Tom Cruise. The more you see him, I mean, personally, I see him and I just think the guy comes off like an ass. I mean, he really doesn't. We talked off air. I don't think he's a good spokesperson. I don't think he seems genuine. I think he seems very, very pompous and like an arrogant, dumb jock trying to lecture me about something he heard that he thinks is deep.
Now, is this brand new feelings, or is this is Oprah couch feelings?
Yes, the more I got to know about him,
that seemed to be the changing point, like
Jimmy
Jimmy said earlier.
How'd you feel about him during Cocktail and Top Gun days?
No opinion. I thought he was an underrated actor. I thought he was an underrated actor.
Right. To give him his due, I think he's a very good actor who's actually been not afraid to take difficult choices, to do things like Magnolia, that film where where he was a coach. I mean, a life coach rather, and also by obviously he was fired by Paramount, but he's now the head of a studio. He's a very powerful man. I think Forbes calls him the most powerful celebrity in the world.
And you call him one of the most dangerous celebrities in the world, by the way.
Well, people have called him the most dangerous. I mean, he is someone who, because of our modern age, because we worship celebrity, as I mentioned earlier, politicians don't get a free pass, celebrities do. And when a celebrity's got a message and they've got power and authority and a whole organisation behind them, they can make a real difference without ever being questioned. And all this book does is say, hey, let's examine what he has to say, let's examine his life, and let's examine his beliefs.
And why is Scientology so secretive?
Well, because they've always had quite a lot to hide in the sense that it's what I would call it's a bait and switch organisation. They bring you in, and then they never really tell you what it's about. And then finally you do, when you believe that you have to believe in this kind of creationist myth about the evil Lord Xenu and so on. And they've brought you in for a period of time. So a lot of it is hidden beneath the surface.
Is that a lot different than believing in like Jesus and
the Bible
and what's in there?
I mean, most creationist myths are absurd. I mean, they don't stand up to any scrutiny because they've been around for a long time. What you've got to ask yourself is, what are the other philosophies and policies that they're arguing? I mean, Tom Cruise, as he said publicly, he wants to outlaw and ban psychiatry. Mm-hmm. They want to use their phrase, globally obliterate psychiatry, and they want to take over the world's mental health, and they're trying to do that. They want to take over education and so on. So it seems to me entirely sensible and entirely proper to examine these policies
and taking over mental health. That's profitable. There's a lot of money at stake there.
There's a lot of money at stake.
Sure,
with the drug companies and all the rest of it.
Are they? I'm sorry. Are they well intentioned? Like a guy like Miscavige. I always forget to say who's the head of Scientology. I've seen. I know very little about him. Is he a guy who's a megalomaniac, or is he a guy who really believes in what he's saying and is kind of getting trashed because Scientology is just the thing to trash?
Well, he's the head of the church. He joined. His father joined when he was going through a crisis in his life, and his son became a member pretty early on, and left school on the day of his 16th birthday and went into Scientology, and has been there ever since. So he never graduated high school, and he's been inside Scientology. He's a true believer. The point that they always make is that they have people will have seen that video of Tom Cruise talking about.
We played it yesterday.
We're the only ones who can help at a car crash and so on. They believe that they have a monopoly of answers to all the world's problems, whatever they are. They have a monopoly of truth, and anyone who dares to dispute that is a critic, and by definition, a criminal. So there's no room for doubt, no room for dissent in that universe.
Has there ever been an outside source that's ever said, Scientology helped us, like whatever, the Christian, the Wildlife Fund or something? Has there ever been anybody that's ever said Scientology has helped? Meaning they give a lot of money, they build schools, they do all kind of stuff.
They do a lot of work to promote themselves, and they've opened their own schools. They've opened their own.
I mean for others, like outside of their own cause. That there's some other people that say, "Oh wow, he gave me money for cancer."
Tom Cruise funded a detox center in New York after 9/11 using the Scientology, what they call purification techniques. But essentially, they help themselves. They help the Scientologists promote their own causes and promote themselves.
Right. Now, getting change the subject to Katie Holmes' baby. There's a lot of rumors that this is associated to Ron L. Hubbard.
Yeah, there was during this
L. Ron Hubbard.
Well,
sorry.
Think back to the pregnancy. It was a real circus, wasn't it? Tom Cruise bought a sonogram machine. Who ever does that to monitor the growth of the fetus? There was this whole silent birth thing and the big placards and all that debate around that. Inside Scientology, there was, and they, by the way, they deny it, but inside Scientology, they do, as I've mentioned earlier, believe in reincarnation. And there was a belief, a wildfire, almost wishful thinking, that L. Ron, because it's 20 years after he died, that somehow the offspring of Tom Cruise would have the spirit of L. Ron inside him.
It's Quato from Total Recall.
And this, by the way, isn't the first time it's happened. I mean, when L. Ron's daughter Suzette had a baby, the toddler was a boy and ginger hair, like the founder of Scientology, and was followed around one of these secret bases that they have.
There's a secret base
in the desert, right?
Yeah, and I think you wrote something about how there was a rift between him and Miscavige when he found out. Like, the more he learned, was it that when he found out about Xenu and their belief in that there was a problem between him and the head of the church?
Well, what happens is
maybe you didn't write that, or I just heard it.
No, I mean, what happens for most of these people, that you get to a level called Operating Thetan 3, and then you go through what's called the Wall of Fire. And the Wall of Fire is where you're given a folder, clear plastic envelope and a key, and you send it into a room, and you read this facsimile handwritten story written by the science fiction writer L. Ron Hubbard, which basically tells you this creationist myth, which you've seen parodied on South Park. We all know it. Evil Lord Xenu sends all these people to Earth, or Chijiak as they call it. They're put into volcanoes, nuclear bombs, and they're all killed. And all these spirits, these dead spirits, are roaming around the Earth, and they've covered up, and they cover your body. And to get rid of these spirits, you have to speak to them telepathically. Now, a lot of people have joined Scientology because there's something wrong in their lives. Their marriage has gone wrong. They've got problems with anger. They want to give up smoking, and it helps. once you get to this level, you're thinking, hey, space aliens, and so it's a leap of faith. At this point, it's a leap of faith, because afterwards, what you've got to do is spend your time actually talking to yourself telepathically to get rid of these body thetans. So you will go through a process, and it's so weird. You have to do it, and Tom Cruise does this 3 or 4 times a day, and you speak to yourself telepathically, and you talk to these body thetans, and you say, your first question is, who are you? And they will answer, I'm a dust mite, or I'm Napoleon, or I'm Bill Clinton. And eventually, once they've said, I am me, or whatever, they recognise themselves, they leave you. So you spend a long time getting rid of these body thetans and clearing your body so that you become clean and cleansed and move forward.
All right, so you've cleared that up, because I always thought it was bizarre, but now that makes perfect sense. Now, I would almost understand in a way, are they literally thinking they're talking to spirits, or are they using spirits as a symbolism for personal demons and things like that, or are they being literal, saying, no, we really believe that there's a creature named Xenu?
You've got these body things that you're cleansing yourself of. And as people have said to me who've gone to these levels, you get into quite a euphoric state. You feel good about yourself because you put yourself into a light hypnotic trance. And then one pretty outspoken former Scientologist said to me, you can talk to your thumb, you can talk to your finger, you can talk to your elbow, you can talk to the crack of your ass all day long, but it's not going to make you a Superman. And once you remember that, once you realise that, you're gone. Wow. And that's the thing. You're in a psychological bubble.
Hey, we're running out of time with Andrew Morton. You didn't really go into the rumors that Tom Cruise might be a homosexual in the book. What I read anyway. I tried to cram. I felt like I was back in college. I pulled an all-nighter and tried to read as much as possible. But what I read, it seems like you believe that he's heterosexual.
Yeah, I deal with that pretty extensively, because the first question I'm always asked is he gay? And I come up with an emphatic, he's always been a ladies' man. And in fact, he got married aged 11 in a schoolyard in Ottawa when he was to his local sweetheart, who signed her name Maypother, which was his given name. But he's sued regularly people who have said that he's gay. Now, I've spoken to the legal people who've actually had him in chambers, who've spoken to him, and he's been prepared to go on oath and say, I'm not gay, I've never had a gay experience, ironically though, the fact that he's sued so often, it's added fuel to the flames, and these days, who cares?
That's probably just a very egotistical guy who doesn't like things being, as opposed to, he's probably not covering up gay rumors, he's just such an arrogant dude, he doesn't like things being said about him, and he wants to make sure that nobody says, but then again, I wouldn't want that either, so I can't even fault
What's the church's view on that? The Scientology church, do they have a view on that?
Yeah, they do. Well, L. Ron Hubbard says that all homosexuals, if they don't convert to Scientology, should be, to quote him, disposed of quietly and without sorrow.
With the Star Trek phaser.
So yeah, but he never said, he doesn't tell you the method to do it. But in actual fact, he was in the early days, he was marketed as being able to, quotes, cure you of homosexuality. And I've spoken to one guy who spent $500,000 trying to cure himself of being gay, got to the highest level, realised he was still gay, so he sued the church for his money back.
Wow. Nice. And they had to send 30 men to have sex with him.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm going to buy Dianetics for you, Norton.
Why? I'm not gay. Does trannies make you gay? Let's hope not. Scientology would scratch their head looking at me. We don't know what this thing is.
We can't figure this one out.
Andrew Morton, best-selling biographer. The book is called Tom Cruise, an unauthorized biography. If you go in and just say, I want the Tom Cruise book, they're going to know exactly what you mean.
Oh, yeah.
And the parts I've read of it, it's a well-written, it's not just a trash fest.
It's a great read.
Believe what I've read. And it just is a really well-put-together work, and I wish you a lot of luck.
Yeah, it was nice
to talk to you.